It's gold medal night here for Open Men's Hockey as one of the oldest rivalries in the sport resumes between the United States and Canada. Hello everyone, welcome into Pice Arena here in Jerusalem. I'm Evan Kamikow, joined by Evan Oscherwitz. And Evan, this is going to be a great night of hockey between an undefeated United States and a 3-1 Canada for the gold medal, and it's going to be an absolute blast.
Right, Evan. What better way to spend our Havdalah than watching a grudge match between these two age-old rival nations in a championship setting, no less. The Americans really got the better of Canada in that first game, a 9-1 defeat for the Red and Black. They're hoping, as well as we are, Evan, that this one ends up being a little bit closer here tonight.
And we have so many storylines and a great broadcast coming up for you. But right now, we're going to throw it down to the third member of our team, Griffin Epstein, with more on the United States.
Says there's a lot of for the United States, a 4-0 start. They're averaging 9 goals a game, but it's not just because of their stars, but because some of their players on their third and fourth lines. It starts with two high school teammates, Zach Gruber and Zeed Diener Chadurker. They were teammates at high school at Rivers High School, just graduated from Massachusetts, and now their cohesion and youthful exuberance is helping lead the U.S. to a 4-0 start and now 60 minutes away from a gold medal. Guys?
Thanks, Griffin. Evan, we all know that hockey is a team sport, but there's got to be one player that shines above the rest. Who, Evan, is tonight's player to watch?
Well, there's plenty of high-end skill on both sides, Evan, but the one guy we've highlighted is U.S. captain Tyler Levine, their only returner from the 2017 silver medal winning squad. He had 10 points through 4 games in that tournament, and the Americans are hoping that he can come through tonight. Lots of skill, very good on face-offs. He's going to be prominent, win or lose, for the U.S.
And that's your player to watch, brought to you by 76 Capital. 76 Capital, shaping the future of sports. And the buzzer goes off, and we're going to be underway in just a few moments. Evan, what are some of the keys to the game for the United States?
Well, it really starts with scoring first, Evan. The U.S. has not trailed at all in this tournament, and the one game where Canada has trailed was that 9-1 defeat to the U.S. Both of these teams are very good at playing with the lead, not so good at chasing the game. Whoever scores first is likely to win tonight. Additionally, special teams are going to play a huge factor. The U.S. loves to take penalties, for better or for worse. Canada's got a pretty good power play, so if the Canadians can take advantage on the man advantage, that's going to bode well for them. And, of course, big games call for big saves. Both goalies need to be good, Evan.
Absolutely, and both coaches are very confident in who they're putting in net.
Yes, for Canada, it's Josh Rosenzweig, who plays in the Ontario Hockey League, Major Junior, for the Niagara Ice Dogs. Very big goaltender, 6'2", a $185, and it's going to be tough to score on him tonight. He looked very calm in warm-ups. He's good to go, as is Jared Bavarnik for the USA. He was great in that 9-1 win for the Americans in the group stage, and they're going to need him to be just as good here tonight.
And here's a look at your two captains, Levine and somebody that his name's going to come up a lot, Daniel Radke. Already 2 gold medals in these games in 13 and 17. He's here tonight to win his 3rd gold medal.
Right, a lot at stake here for Dan Radke in an individual sense. He'd be the first ever player to win 3 gold medals at the Maccabia, and his coach would also, Adam Schell, be the first coach to win 3 gold medals. So a lot at stake for those guys individually. They're hoping they can get the job done for the 3rd time.
And just a reminder, hockey took a 16-year hiatus. It came back to the Maccabia in 2013. Then it was back in 2017, and here we are, 2022. Canada and the United States yet again vying for that elusive gold medal.
Right, and the Americans are hoping it works out a little bit differently this time. They've been the odds-on favorite since the tournament started. Lots of lopsided victories for them, but this is going to be their toughest challenge yet against a Canadian team that's been here before, Evan.
And the United States, their road to get here, they're 4-0 right now. They're the favorites. They don't want to be the favorites. They don't love it. It's not typically what a Maccabia would be. But tonight, it's a different story. A new Maccabia, new games. The United States, they beat Israel 10-2. Then Canada 9-1, which, as we mentioned before, this is the rematch for Canada. Then went on to defeat Maccabi Europe twice. Once in regular pool play, and the next time 10-3 in the semifinal.
Right, and Maccabi Europe ended up winning that bronze medal earlier today. A bit of an upset there. They had some setbacks early in the tournament. They rebounded with a narrow win over Israel. Congratulations to them. But as we mentioned, this is where the U.S. is going to find out what they're really made of. They did beat Canada once. That was in group play. Now with a gold medal on the line, we will see who comes through.
And starting on the ice for the Americans, the obvious, Levine, you have 36, who is
Cooper Fensterstock.
Cooper Fensterstock, thank you. Number 5, Ethan Roswell in the back, along with number 8, Michael Higgins. They'll be your defense for the United States. And taking the face-off, Radke And Radke's going to win it over Levine. And we're underway at the Maccabia.
And Coach Michael Gershon really complimented Levine on his face-off ability. That's why he took the draw as a winger instead of Fensterstock, who typically would take the draws as the centerman on this line.
And coming up now, Fensterstock tries to play it through. There's Higgins, but can't get there. And Fensterstock with the puck tries to play it through. There's a shot on goal and a good save by Rosenswag as he eats the puck and will have a face-off.
Early turnover there by David Radke, and that's one thing that Coach Adam Schell told us they could not have today. That happened in the first game, a gift goal off a turnover just like that, and it's a shame because they defended that entry pretty well, which is another thing that Schell talked about, winning at the blue lines, preventing the U.S. from getting easy entries, and getting the puck out cleanly on your exit. So far, they've done one of those things, but they got to watch the turnovers here.
Also for Canada, starting both Becker brothers, Devin and Kyle, along with Sammy May, as the puck's played into the United States zone and sent against the wall. Fighting for it. United States comes up with it. There's 27. Remy Parker. Parker dances, plays it along the boards. Picked up by 13. Kyle Becker.
And that was a good job by Devin Becker to angle him off there. These two brothers on the blue line for Canada are huge, 6'2" and 6'4" respectively, and they love to throw hits. Look for them to play big minutes tonight.
United States with possession. And it's played in by 22. Kraus. Back out, trying to find 19 up the middle. The United States is, but they can't reach him. That's Michael Janello.
Yeah, Rosenzweig was a little slow playing that puck, nearly got taken from him, got it away at the last second, but missed his defenseman. That's something to keep an eye on here with these Olympic sheets. There's more room behind the net to play the puck, and that also means more potential for mistakes by the goaltenders.
And there's a potential mistake by Rosenzweig, but unable to handle it is Diener Chodurker. And as Radke comes up, plays it in the zone, takes a shot. It's a bit wide. And the United States looks to counter. Played into the zone by number 20. That's Brody Selman. And a big hit there against Canada.
And we mentioned the size on the back end for the Canadians. The U.S. has a size advantage up front, so look for them to forecheck hard and make life tough on these blue liners for Canada.
Up for the United States rush is 18. Jesse Lowell. And we're going to have a stoppage in play as Rosenzweig holds the puck.
And a bit of a cautious start here through the first 2 minutes. We thought we might see that. We knew Canada was going to play conservative. In the first meeting, they tried to match the skill of the Americans, and that didn't go well for them. They're playing a little bit of a trap here tonight, trying to keep the play to the outside, and so far they've done a decent job at that, save for the one chance off the turnover.
And a whistle will be blown, and we're going to redo that face-off. But a big thing that Coach Schell told us is that 10 minutes is going to be so important for Canada. They really don't want the United States to jump on them. The United States has jumped on them. They scored 3 goals early in the first meeting between these two teams, and Canada was just unable to catch up. Had a tap in that they missed, but unfortunately, the United States went back down the ice and scored and put the game pretty much away.
Right. We mentioned the importance of getting a good start on both sides, but for Canada, it's paramount because the U.S. is accustomed to getting early leads, and if you can get them out of your comfort zone, coupled with the crowd and just the nerves of playing in a championship game, you can potentially take advantage of that if you're Canada. And it looks like this face-off is going to come out.
Looks like the U.S. zone is. We're going to get a player in the box. It's number 10, Zach Gruber. And like you said, big thing for the United States. They love taking penalties. Well, they just took their first 2 minutes and 22 seconds into the first period.
Right, a rarely seen penalty there. Face-off violation against the American Zach Gruber. So Canada, we mentioned their power play has been pretty good. They get to go to work here with a chance to give the U.S. their first deficit of the competition.
And Coach Schell said that he believes in their power play, and even Coach Gershon of the United States acknowledged it as well.
Yeah, he said that they were going to have to be more disciplined tonight, and that's just a careless penalty, a hand pass off the face-off. He knows that's not allowed. It's not just an IAHF rule. It's also illegal in North America, and he gets burned for it right there.
Kyle Becker had the puck shot in, a big hit, and the helmet of Levine comes off, followed up by 16. Good job there setting up for their teammates is Max Roth. And puck played back for the Americans. Here's number 19. That's Janello. Finds Levine the shot, and a good save by Rosenzweig.
Yep, great positioning there by the Canadian goaltender. And we mentioned these Becker brothers love to throw hits. We just saw a massive one there from Kyle Becker on Levine, the American captain. We didn't think we'd see many on the penalty kill, though, Evan. That's a bit of a surprise.
Definitely not. Sammy May and number 13 of the United States getting into it a little bit. That's George Weiner. And the United States can have a shorthanded faceoff in the Canadian zone.
Yeah, that was some good pressure from the Americans shorthanded. A dangerous opportunity there for Jesse Lowell, but Rosenzweig comes up big. And he looked a little uneasy earlier in the game. By virtue of facing all these shots, he's been able to settle into a bit of a rhythm here, and that bodes well for the Canadians.
Janello and Radke to take the faceoff, won by Radke. And Daniel Radke, what an interesting story. Or Griffin Epstein's going to have more on him. And a little bit later, as Radke now has the puck, tries to play it through. Swarm of white jerseys right by him.
Yeah, Radke by far the oldest player on either team at 31 years of age, but he's been in these situations before, and that kind of leadership is invaluable here in these championship games.
Good communication. Here's Radke up top. Finds his brother Radke. That's a shot, but a good save there by Bavarnik.
Not an overly tough save there for Jared Bavarnik. Big goaltender. That one just glances off his stick blade and into the slot where it was cleared out by the D-man. Great job there by the American penalty killers.
Canada keeps it in, but able to gain possession is the United States, and Clay Corpy goes up the ice, throws it into the neutral zone. He keeps it.
Yeah,
Gonna find number 20, the shot, and it's a goal! The United States strikes first as Brody Selman puts him on the board, and there goes the Teddy Bears.
Right, a shorthanded goal for the U.S. to get things started here. We thought Canada might be able to take advantage of that power play. Instead, it goes the other way. The Americans strike first. Brody Selman with a shot over the glove of Rosenzweig. And maybe a case of the announcer's jinx there, Evan. We just mentioned how he looked like he was settling into a rhythm, but that one beats him cleanly. And not a great goal to start off for the Canadians.
No, and a great job by the Americans. But before we even get started back into the game, what are all these teddy bears doing on the floor?
Your guess is as good as mine, Evan, but we were told about this by Canadian head coach Adam Schell in our production meeting earlier today. They had arranged for the crowd to throw these teddy bears on the ice after the first goal of the game. And the Americans have provided that early on, and presumably it might take a while for them to clean up all these teddy bears off the ice.
Yeah, this is a fundraiser and donation on the first goal of the game for the United States. And all the fans here brought teddy bears. The junior players are able to throw them out on the ice. And my goodness, I don't think I've seen that many teddy bears in a long time.
Not at a game I've been at in person. There are some YouTube clips that might have this one beat. But yes, great showing from the crowd here at Pius Arena. Not quite a full house, but there's still plenty of time for people to roll in here, and they are still filing into the stands. The ice is littered with them right now, Evan, and just hoping this delay doesn't last too long.
Yeah, that was a big thing that Adam Schell said to us again earlier today. He's like, well, it's great that they're going to do it, but I hope there's more than 2 people that are cleaning up the teddy bears, and there's a lot. And we'll take a look at how did we even get here in the first place. The United States defeated Maccabi Europe 10-3 in their semifinal. Canada took care of business against an Israel team 10-1. But Canada was a little bit worried about that Israel team, being that this is their home ice.
Yeah, not only that, but this Israel team was quite a physical bunch. In the first meeting, which was a 6-0 Canadian win, Coach Schell mentioned that they tried to turn it into a bit of a wrestling match and goad Canada into taking unnecessary penalties. To their credit, the Canadians held serve, they stayed disciplined, and they were able to take advantage in the second meeting against the Israelis with a lopsided 10-1 victory. And clearly that result took its toll on Israel because they then dropped the bronze medal game to Maccabi Europe in what was quite a huge upset, Evan.
And the teddy bears are still on the ice, and we're going to go down to our sideline reporter, Griffin Epstein. Griffin, what do you got?
Hey guys, yeah, great tradition here. I've got Dory and a dog. All the fans were handed Dory from Finding Nemo before the game, and now they get to toss it on the ice. It's actually a junior tradition, often used in Canada and occasionally the U.S. as well. Great tradition here. Does cause a little bit of a stoppage. Big first goal for the U.S., but it leads to a lot of fun for the fans as well. Guys?
Thanks, Griffin. The teddy bears look to be cleared as they're getting the final ones off of the ice right now. Some still look like they're being thrown, but man, what a fun sight to see.
Really, it is, Evan. And before the game, we were talking about what this might do for momentum for the team that scored that first goal, because the stoppage wasn't as long as we might have thought. But even still, there's a break in the play. The teams have time to talk things over. And for the U.S., this has the potential to maybe take a little bit of momentum away. So it's important that this next shift for the U.S. is a good one.
And especially with Canada, you just gave up a shorthanded goal. What's your momentum like? If you were in the huddle, what would you be thinking?
Well, it's deflating for sure, because they probably thought they were going to go up 1-0, especially with that a couple looks they did get early in the power play. But the U.S. flips the script on them, and really, you just have to regroup. You have to play like it's 0-0 on every shift, and I would assume there's going to be a good response here from Canada. Maybe they can get one at the end of this power play. There's still a few seconds left. Unlikely, but they can at least set up in the offensive zone and get things rolling for that next line that comes out.
And Coach Gershon said to us earlier that we want the puck. We don't want to be chasing during the game, and quite frankly, in that shorthanded period for the United States, it felt like they were the ones that had the puck, had control, and Canada was chasing, even when they were shorthanded.
Right, it was a very convincing penalty kill, and their penalty kills gotten a lot of reps throughout this tournament because of their propensity to take penalties. And it was a little bit of a broken play there. It looked like Corpy was just trying to dump that puck. It hits the Canadian defenseman. Radke comes right back to his stick, keeps it on side, and finds Selman for the goal.
And team is going to be played again. Play resumes here in Jerusalem. And that's going to be gloved by Bavarnik. And we'll get a face-off in the U.S. zone.
Bit of an interesting decision to stop play there by Bavarnik. There's still 7 seconds left on the power play. This gives Canada an opportunity to run a set play off the face-off. I might have kept it moving and allowed time for Gruber to get back on the ice. But in any case, they will have a draw here in the D zone.
And Levine's going to win that face-off. A good job as the United States is going to skate away the power play.
Yep, that's going to do it for the man advantage. Only one shot for the Canadians. Not a great start to their special teams play, which we mentioned was going to be a big factor here. And so far it has been. The only goal scored shorthanded by Brody Selman.
Kyle Becker plays it in and saved by the blockers of Bavarnik.
And a pretty good response shift here from Canada. They get it deep set up as that pass goes past the defenseman and all the way back into the Canadian end. I'm more concerned with how Rosenzweig is going to respond from giving up that shorty.
And a big hit there by Tyler Levine, the captain of the United States, setting the tone. Bavarnik now just going to play it out. Ooh, risky pass there from Zach List.
Yeah, and we figured there might be some hitting early on. There certainly has been. And Levine, I'm sure, is fired up after that shot he took from Kyle Becker earlier in the period. He's going to want to give it back to anyone wearing a black jersey.
Another big shot there. That's Remy Parker with that hit. The United States playing very physical, kept in the zone. Sammy May, and we'll get a high stick.
Yeah, and a pretty good response there from the U.S. after a good shift from the Canadians, following the goal. And Rosenzweig, he's really going to have to regroup here after that one. That's one he definitely liked back. And he's going to have to get back into his groove here. He made some nice saves before that. Just got to forget about that goal.
Daniel Radke wins the faceoff, but United States gets possession. Abazov fighting for it. He'll be able to clear it out. Finds 13. And Cordy to 19 Ganello, back to Cordy.
And one thing about this U.S. team
good
is...
save there by Rosenzweig.
Sorry,
United States will have to reset.
Sorry, Evan. One thing about this U.S. team, they love to skate and they love to play with the puck. Puck possession is the name of their game. And a good comparison for how this team plays might be the Toronto Maple Leafs under Sheldon Keefe. They've got a lot of high-end skill, a lot of speed, but they're not a rush team. They prefer to score off the cycle. And when they get that puck deep in the offensive zone and get their cycle going, it is awfully hard to get it back from them. And we saw a little bit of that earlier in this shift.
And Corpy's got to throw it back in. This puck went behind the blue line, so the United States had to reset. Otherwise, there'd be an offsides called. As now Antilles has the puck. Pass to number 4, Denner Chidoker. And it'll stay in the U.S. defensive zone.
Pretty good forecheck here by the Canadians. As we mentioned, they have a smaller forward group, but a strong forecheck here has created some opportunities as that one goes wide off the stick of Michaels.
Michaels had a good look, but good job by Higgins playing it out. Avazov fighting for it. Won't get possession. Here's Steiner Chiderker. And a big hit there by Becker.
Strong play there by Becker to keep that in at the blue line. He dodged the check from Diener Chidurker, but eventually did lose it as it's iced by the U.S.
Canada now will have an offensive zone face-off. And that's Michael Higgins on your screen. Not fully happy with that. It looked like Selman was ahead of the Canadian defenseman. So not sure if the icing call, but refs will talk about it.
Well, if it is a botched icing call, Evan, then the faceoff should come out to center ice, and I believe that's what the Americans were arguing.
And that's what it looks like. As number 10 for the U.S., Gruber is going to take it.
And by and large, Evan, the officiating has been pretty good throughout this tournament, but Adam Shaw, when we talked to him earlier, did express some frustration at a few offside calls, and with the one referee, two linesman system, that is bound to happen. The referee can't keep track of everything.
And here's a fast break for the Americans. The shot and a good save by Rosenzweig. Gruber there with a great look at the net.
Yeah, a chance from the middle of the slot there. Not going to get many better looks than that, but Rosenzweig reaches the glove out and gets a piece of this one. Great reaction save there by the Canadian goaltender, and way to bounce back after allowing the early goal.
I was about to say, like you said, the question would be how would Rosenzweig bounce back, and there he makes a very nice glove save.
Well, again, I was watching him very closely in warm-ups, and you can tell a lot about a goaltender's confidence by where they're playing in the net and just how their body language is. And he looked very, very calm in warm-ups. Didn't seem like the moment was too big for him. As we mentioned earlier, he does play Major Junior, so he's used to playing in big games with the crowd, and that experience is showing here. He doesn't look a bit rattled.
Dan Radke wins the face-off there. Canada will have possession. Played along the boards, but grabbed by the United States.
And a bit of a tenuous play there by Devin Becker, He had time, wasn't a forechecker near him, and he just kind of threw that puck away to center ice. There have been some hiccups here from the Canadian defensemen on these breakouts, so that'll be something to watch.
Here comes Levine on the rush. Good defensive play by Becker. Radke now looks to take it, finds the U.S. zone, drops it back. Shuck it the shot, and a good glove save by Bavarnik.
Yeah, there was a screen in front there from Sammy May, number 47 in black, and Bavarnik stayed with it the whole time. But Tyler Levine took a massive hit there as he released the puck from Devin Becker that time, and he came up grasping his face, and I don't think the Americans are going to like that at all. It's the second big hit he's taken. But one thing that Michael Gershon mentioned when we talked to him yesterday, Evan, was if you try to cut to the middle of the ice against these guys, you're going to pay the price for it, and Levine did just then.
Fader and Janello now taking the face-off. Fader wins that one, finds Radke. Radke the shot, bounces off the glass.
And one thing the Americans have done a really good job at is keeping the play to the outside in the defensive zone. It's some pushing and shoving there out by the blue line. Physicality really intensifying here as this game moves along. But Canada hasn't had many opportunities from the slot.
Fader, the United States, has the puck. Drop back. Here's a shot. And right off the post.
I believe Rosenzweig got a piece of that with the left pad. Great sprawling save there by the Canadian goaltender, using every bit of that 6'2 frame to keep that puck out.
The U.S. had plenty of looks there as Abney, now with the puck, puts it on the floor, takes a big hit, and we're going to get a whistle blown. And we'll see what's going on right here.
Yeah,
bit of a hustle between Weitzman and number 7, that's Max Abene.
Physicality really ramping up here, Evan, and the Americans have responded to it very well as we get another look at that scoring chance. And I believe he just gets the toe of the skate on that puck. Very, very close.
Really creative play there by George Weiner of Wayne, New Jersey.
Yeah, and as I was saying, Evan, the Canadians have landed some really big hits on these American forwards, but the U.S. has responded. That first big hit on Levine by Kyle Becker was followed closely by the goal, and then almost another one right there after Levine gets cleaned out by Devin. So the U.S. really seems to be fired up by these big hits, and they're responding in kind.
Duke Litwin there with the shot, but glove save by Bavarnik. Litwin, for the Canada, plays at the University of Arizona. He's teammates of Selman and Lowell at Arizona, 2 players for the United States.
Yeah, and there's a couple of crossover episodes going on in the college ranks between these two teams. We mentioned how Levine and Kaufman for Canada, the right-handed defenseman, also play together at Wesleyan University. So these guys, a few of them know each other pretty well, and it'll be interesting to see whether they stay friends after this game, the way it's going.
You'd assume they have to stay friends, as there's a clear by the U.S., and it'll be an icing.
I say that jokingly, of course, but yeah, there's still 50 minutes left, and there's already a fair amount of dislike between these two teams. This could get very interesting here as this one moves along, Evan.
Well, would you expect anything less between a U.S.-Canada hockey game? Because I definitely wouldn't.
No, you would not. No, you would not. But it certainly lived up to the hype so far, and still a very close game halfway through the first period. So we've gotten what we expected pretty much, and so have the, I'll say, 7,000 fans here at Pius Arena. Would you agree with that estimate?
Probably. It's definitely filled out, as Janello and Daniel Radke are going to take the face-off. But crowd, it keeps growing. More people coming in. It's a big night here in Pius Arena.
Right, and they're going to be treated to quite a matchup by the looks of it. And as I was saying a couple minutes ago, Evan, Canada hasn't gotten many high-danger opportunities, and it's really allowed Bavarnik to settle into a rhythm here. Of course, the last time I said that about Rosenzweig, a goal went in, so we'll see what happens. But he looks pretty calm out there right now, and he's gotten a few pucks his way early in this game, and he seems to be settling into the game here, Evan.
Antleys to Avazov, and Avazov tosses it into the zone. And we're going to get a reset for the Americans, as that's Zach List now with the puck. He's going to find Michael Higgins.
Yeah, and the U.S. has the luxury of playing 7 defensemen tonight, whereas Canada only has 5. So List, he's going to have a lot of time on the bench in between his shifts, but look for him to be out there for a long time when he is out there, because there's going to be some tired legs for Canada as we get further and further into this game.
This Grill tries to find the puck. Big hit there by 18. Lowell. And the U.S. can reset. Higgins plays it through. Trying to spin off of that is Diener Chadoker. And Canada looks to have a 3-on-2 right here. And a great stick save there by number 20, Brody Selman. Yeah. Selman coming up big for the Americans.
Great back check there by Selman, the lone goal scorer. That was going to be a dangerous opportunity for Benji Orgel in the middle of the slot, and he wasn't even able to get the shot away. So a great defensive play there by the third-line center for the U.S., Selman.
Fader into the zone. Americans now with control. It's 27. A shot, and a good save by Rosenzweig.
Another dangerous opportunity there for the Americans off the rush. And Fensterstock, who has a bullet of a shot, we saw that in warm-ups, just shoots it into the chest there of Rosenzweig. And a lot of the time people will look at that and say, oh, well, he shot it directly into the goaltender's body. The other side of that is the goaltender was in the right position to make the save, and Rosenzweig certainly was there. Give him a lot of credit for that one.
And Levine's not going to win the faceoff for the Americans, but he'll get the puck here. A big check there by Remy Parker. And here's a shot, and it's a goal! Ethan Roswell makes it 2-0. United States makes a statement in the first 12 minutes.
Great face-off win by the U.S. there. They get the puck low to high. There's some room for Roswell to shoot, and he buries the slap shot once again over Rosenzweig's glove. Both goals have gone in high glove on the Canadian netminder, and that is a huge goal for the U.S. as they double their lead.
And the Bears are going to be thrown again. Although PA announcer said stop throwing the Bears, I think it's great.
I'm surprised there's so many left in the stands, Evan. I figured we'd gotten rid of most of them, but that's clearly not the case.
And we'll have another stoppage in play so that the crew can come on the ice and pick them up.
And another thing I noticed about Rosenzweig in warm-ups was all the shots he was allowing in were going high, either over the glove or over the blocker, which is not uncommon with big goaltenders. They tend to cover the bottom of the net pretty well. There's usually some room over the glove or the blocker. And in Rosenzweig's case, it looks like the glove side is the chink in his armor. So look for the American shooters to start aiming there with more frequency as this game moves along.
And to catch you up on the first 12 minutes and 10 seconds or so of play, Brody Selman started the scoring off for the Americans early, and Ethan Roswell follows up. Roswell from Paradise Valley, Arizona, played for the Boston Junior Bruins and Bentley University. The defenseman gets in on the scoring.
Yeah, one of the handful of D1 players for the U.S., playing in the Atlantic Hockey Conference. And he certainly showed us that he has an NCAA-level slap shot right there. That was a bullet. And it's an important goal for the U.S. You know, it's only halfway through the first period. You're already up by a couple. You're comfortable playing with the lead, as we've seen in every game so far. And you're forcing Canada to chase the game once again.
And Fenster-Stock in there. Levine fighting for the puck. And Daniel Radke, though, with possession for the Canadians.
And if
Sammy
you're
May fighting. And Levine to the middle. Fenster-Stock. Ooh.
Missed that one high. He had some room to shoot there from a prime opportunity there right in front of the blue paint.
And played out. Here's Litwood. But a good job being there by Corpy. And Fenster-Stock's going to play it in. Rosenzweig out of his crease. Fires it up the walls.
Right before that last turnover, Evan, I was going to say it's imperative for the Canadians that they get this next goal. At 2-0 with 48 minutes left to play, you're still very much in this. A lot can happen, and the 2-goal lead is widely considered to be one of the most dangerous in the game of hockey. But 3-0, it gets a little trickier as a misplay there by Rosenzweig behind the net.
Good job there by Canada to recover. So here's Weitzman, finds to the middle and shot just wide.
Looked like he fanned on that one, Evan, but a good feed
by the U.S. 2-on-1. Janello. And a good glove save there by Rosenzweig, but a good opportunity there for the Americans.
Yeah, they weren't able to beat him over the glove that time. Great stop there. And prior to that, a good setup by Cameron Weitzman, and it was fanned on by his line mate, as we're going to get a penalty call here.
And that's going to be number 15 for Canada going to the box.
Benji Orgel.
Somebody that Coach Shell told us earlier has to step up for Canada. They need some of the players that don't necessarily are the big names to really take that step forward tonight, right?
Right, and the U.S.'s power play has not been very good in this tournament, Evan, but they also haven't gotten many reps. And if you give a team enough chances, whether their power play is struggling or not, they're going to score eventually, and that's a really untimely penalty there for the Canadians.
Higgins, Levine, Remy, Parker, Fenster-Stock, all on the ice for the U.S. power play right now.
And one of the things that Michael Gershon told us about this power play unit is that they need to simplify their approach. But when you get these skill guys all together and you don't have a lot of time to practice special teams, they only had 2 training camp sessions, 48 hours each, a couple months apart. So the cohesion's not going to be there right off the hop. But one of the things he said is that we're trying to do a little bit too much on the power play. We're trying to be a little bit too fancy. The goals all count the same. The greasy ones are worth just as much as the pretty ones. So look for them to make some simple plays here and just try and get pucks to the net.
And there goes Devin Becker to the box. For Canada, he'll serve the 2 minutes. And Levine and Radke will take the face-off. Won by Radke. Good clear around by Kaufman. The States able to keep it in the zone. That's played away, and the U.S. will have to reset.
And winning that first draw is so important on the power play. The U.S. does it there, but they can't keep it in. And now they're going to have to re-enter the zone. And with these big defensemen Canada has, that's going to be easier said than done.
Parker takes it in. Here's Fenster-Stock. Out to Levine. Here's Higgins. Higgins, a shot. And that's just wide. Remy Parker throws it around the boards. There's Fenster-Stock. Tyler Levine. Back to Remy. With time surveys. Finds Higgins. Higgins. Out to Fenster-Stock. The shot. Just a bit wide. And Remy Parker plays it low. United States taking their time, not rushing, waiting for something open. 53 seconds remains in the power play. Parker. The shot. Ooh, just misses.
Had some room there on the blocker side. But the U.S. really working the perimeter hard on this power play. Not really working the middle of the ice too much. Not trying to set up the bumper or net front positions. All the danger really coming from the half wall. And a couple of those shots were rifled, but...
And a good clear, but a big hit.
Yeah, a couple of those shots were very powerful, but in the battle of angles there, the goaltender wins from those half-wall spots. So look for them to try and get it to the bumper position in the middle of the slot.
Diener Chedurker there, but they're going to call an offsides.
And Coach Michael Gershon mentioned that this second power play unit has actually been more successful than the first one because they've been making simple plays and not trying to get too pretty with it. So we'll see if they can replicate that success in the last 15 seconds here.
Like you said, 15 seconds remains. Ganello is going to lose the face-off, and that'll be thrown into the U.S. zone. And grabbed by List.
And interesting that they're giving Zach List some power play time here. That seventh defenseman serving as the quarterback here for these last few seconds.
And a good kill by Canada as they come back to full strength.
And very much needed there for the red and black. That'll give you some momentum, and we'll see if they can turn that momentum into a goal here in this last 5 minutes of the first.
And lost puck there. Here's Litwin. Litwin the shot, and a good save by Bavarnik. Played out by Cordy.
Really good job by the American defenseman defending that 2-on-1, taking away the pass as you're supposed to do, letting the goaltender play the shot, and not a dangerous opportunity there from Litvin, but he did force Bavarnik to make a save there as we get a whistle. And it looks like too many men on the ice.
Here's Coach Gershon on your screen. Gershon from Moon, Pennsylvania. Said the team's taking a lot of penalties. He's the head coach at Chatham University in Pennsylvania, a former assistant at Robert Morris University. He loves his five-man unit, too. Last game, they had 4 to 5 goals from defensemen. He likes when everyone plays. And Burke is going to head to the box for the Americans as Canada is going to be on a power play right here.
Right, and we mentioned how the first penalty they took, that hand pass off of the face-off early in the first, was not a great penalty. This one also, just lack of discipline, lack of communication on the American bench. And it gives Canada an opportunity to get back in this one. And they're hoping this power play goes better than their first one did.
And Radke wins. Here's Devin Becker down low. Just missed. And another shot follow-up by Becker. Won't be there. It'll be cleared away.
Dylan Fader had a wide-open cage there, and he just hit it off the heel of his stick, couldn't elevate it, and it's an easy save by Bavarnik, who was down and out of that play. Bad break for Canada.
And Canada looked to reset Daniel Radke with the puck. Surveys. But a great diving clear by Abene. And we'll get a line change for the United States.
Sorry, Evan. That's the type of play that you need on the power play. Those diving, clearing attempts, diving to block shots, all about effort and tenacity, really.
Another good clear for the Americans. 1:15 remains in the power play. Rosenzweig way out of his goal, but is able to get there before Janello can cause too much havoc.
Yeah, Rosenzweig showing off some skating ability there. That was a 50-50 puck, and he got there before the American penalty killer. Really nice play there.
Devin Becker now looks to throw it in the middle, and another good clear by the United States and Michael Higgins.
And Canada, off that first faceoff, looked pretty good. They were able to get some dangerous looks, but since that first clear, they've really been struggling to get the puck back in deep.
Levine comes on the ice as here comes Michaels. Michaels dances, but unable to get anything off. The dangerous pass there for Canada.
Yeah, that was fed out into the slot, but it was in the skates of Sammy May, unable to get it up to his stick. Had that pass been on the money, that's another dangerous look.
And 20 seconds now remains in the power play, as Sammy May will have probably enough time for one more rush. Here comes the Canadians. Good stick moves. Litwig. Sammy May. Dances. Nice move. Over the middle, and a good clear there by Fensterstock, as that'll kill the penalty, and the USA is back to full strength.
Another solid penalty kill by the Americans. As we mentioned, a couple good looks off that first sequence. After that, nothing much, and it gives the Americans the momentum back.
Remy Parker and Brandon Avazov come on for the United States. The top line's going to be back again. Fensterstock and Tyler Levine also on the ice.
And as we approach the final 2 minutes of this period, both teams really have to be careful not to get caught in a lull here. Those goals in the last 2 minutes of a period can have a really big impact on momentum. So both teams have to be very careful, not sure to give one up, to be sure not to give one up here.
Kyle Becker plays one through. It's kept in. Here comes the Americans. Here's Remy Parker. got a running mate in Avazov, but he throws it in. And Grill now with possession for the Canadians. Finds Devin Becker. But Parker all over Becker, not letting him get any room to work with the puck. And that'll be tossed in the U.S. zone, and the United States will reset as Canada switches lines.
Yeah, and these wingers for the Canadians are playing way up at the far blue line on these breakouts, not really giving any support to their defensemen. That might be an adjustment that the Canadians make heading into the second period, as there have been a few turnovers on these breakouts.
Corpy plays it in. Here's Fader. Fader and May. A good job by Remy Parker. And the United States clears. So Canada will have to reset.
And a little bit of passiveness from the Canadian wingers here. We saw that on the power play as well with that last chance. Sammy May had an opportunity to take it to the net. Instead, he button hooked and tried to feed the slide. In both cases, it gets cleared out.
Here comes Higgins, another dangerous opportunity for the U.S. Higgins with the puck. Tries to pass it in, broken up. And the U.S. will have to reset again. Well, 1 minute remains here in the first period. And Diener Chadarker throws it in.
Canada on their heels a bit here late in the period. They've got to make sure they survive this final minute unharmed.
And the Canadians will look to go on one rush. 45 seconds to go. Here's Daniel Radke, the captain. Finds Kyle Becker. But Ethan Roswell now with the puck. His Becker shot goes off his stick.
Yeah, he healed that one. Didn't get a lot on it. Easy clear for the Americans.
Avazov fights for the puck. A big hit there against Weitzman. Now Fensterstock plays it through. Number one line coming on. 18 seconds to go, and there will be a whistle.
Icing. They say didn't get to the red line. Tough break, but you got to make sure that you get to center ice before you dump it. It's a bit of a careless play there, and the Canadians will get an offensive zone faceoff with 18 seconds left as a result.
A lot of fans here. The stadium keeps filling out. A lot of red, white, and blue supporting the U.S. They got a 2-goal lead with 17.8 seconds remaining here in the first period.
And as crazy as it sounds, if you're the Canadians, you feel a lot better going into the intermission with a 2-0 deficit to make up, which is still manageable, than what you had in the first game. Certainly, they're not going to be satisfied with this first period, but they've managed to mitigate the damage, and I think under circumstances, they'll take it.
And Levine wins that face-off. But Canada and Sammy May will have the puck. May looks to rush. 5 seconds to go here in the first period. A spin, a shot. It's just a bit wide. And the U.S. will go into the locker room after the first period up 2-0. Evan, what really stuck out to you here for the first 20 minutes?
Well, the Americans don't look nervous at all. This is the first time a lot of these guys have been in a championship game with a gold medal on the line on the international stage, and not one bit of nerves was shown there by Team USA. They came out firing right out of the gate, get that early shorthanded goal, and then add another one with a bomb of a shot from Roswell later in the period, and they're sitting pretty going into the first break.
And Jared Bavarnik, let's talk about him for a little bit. He hasn't seen a lot of action because the U.S. defense has been so good.
Right, they're keeping play to the outside. A lot of these shots are coming from outside the hash marks. No really dangerous opportunities to speak of from the Canadians other than that one on the power play, which was missed by Dylan Fader, and an easy save for Bavarnik resulted from that. But he's been good when called upon, and under circumstances, that's all you can ask for.
And now we're going to go send it down to the rink as our Griffin Epstein is joined by Canada head coach Adam Schell. Griffin, you're up.
All right, we're here with Coach Schell. Coach, a 2-0 deficit. What went wrong in this first period?
Honestly, what went wrong, we gave them 2 chances. We talked about a couple of things, and they get loose, and they scored. Not a lot went wrong. We did a lot of things we wanted to do. Need to generate a little bit more offense. But, yeah, they're lethal when we give them freebies.
Power play, we're 0 for 2 and did give up a shorty. What do you want to see better on the special teams?
Our entries need to be a little bit better. Our penalty kill was solid, I thought, but we're having trouble getting in. We got to make quick adjustments there, but we had a chance right at the back door, right off the hop on one of them, and we didn't finish. So it's a little margins.
Last question, what's the player that needs to be the spark in the locker room?
That's a good question. Well, honestly, I think our whole defense has to continue to do well in the rush, and then we'll be fine.
Well, we almost got run over. Good luck in the second period. Thanks Coach. Guys.
Griffin, I hope you're okay. I definitely don't want our sideline reporter to get hit by a Zamboni. I don't think that'd be a fun story, and maybe a lawsuit here or there. But Evan, what a great first period it's been.
It has been an entertaining game so far, to say the least, Evan. Lots of hitting, lots of great scoring chances, and some good saves by the goaltenders. No matter what kind of hockey fan you are, no matter what you like, this game has given you your fix so far, and we're hoping that the final 40 minutes brings more of that.
United States up 2-0. It's the gold medal match between the U.S. and Canada, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
The U.S. is going to the gold medal match. Griffin Epstein alongside Zach Gershman here from Maccabi Media. Zach, the U.S. comes from behind to defeat Argentina 2-1. Really a remarkable turnaround today for the United States.
Yeah, remarkable turnaround. Coach Erush talked about just playing their game. That's all they needed to do. They started off a little slow, giving up a goal in the first half due to a handball inside the box or the penalty kick. They were able to nail it in. But Coach said the vibes, they were pretty chill throughout the locker room. They just needed to play their game. Yoni Sorokin, Emery Rappaport both nailing in goals to give the U.S. the 2-1 win.
Yeah, talk about Rappaport. We talked with him about that big goal to equalize things.
Ran to the near post. The ball went behind me, but it just fell right to my feet, and I just tried to smash it as hard as I could to the near post. And it hit a guy and went in, and I knee slid in the corner. I was ecstatic.
A big goal for Rappaport made it 1-1, and then Sorokin added the second goal to take a 2-1 lead. The last 20 minutes were pretty feisty. We saw a lot of yellows, a lot of arguing, a little bit of skirmishes, but the U.S., they really held their cool.
And we saw a red card as well that went towards Argentina. The Argentinians, we were told ahead of time, they're going to be very feisty. It was going to be a very physical game. Coach Erush emphasized, do not let them get in your head. You saw him roaming the sideline saying it's a mental game at this point. And the United States, they won the mental game.
Yeah, Erush talked about it. The U.S. held their cool, and that was key throughout the match.
99% of it was to keep our cool. I mean, we watched them play 2 games. Once you go into kind of what they want, we lose momentum, we lose confidence. We kept our cool, and we wanted to keep possession in their half. We wanted to send numbers forward, create numbers up situations in the final third.
So the U.S. will move on to the gold medal match on Sunday evening. The U.S. going for a three-peat. We'll have continued coverage. Stay tuned on Maccabi Media. For Zach Gershman, I'm Griffin Epstein in Jerusalem.
On the final day of fencing competition, the Americans won the men's open division foil fencing team title. This ended a drought of at least 40 years, and Maccabi USA President Jeff Bukantz was in attendance to watch it all go down. Zachary Binder, wearing his Columbia University mask, had the final touch against his Israeli opponent, ending his first Jewish Olympics.
Yeah, it means a lot. It's pretty cool that my first Maccabia games, I can make some history here. It's been a long time since we won this open men's foil team final, so it was great. We had a great day. We have really strong fencers on our team, and we pulled it off.
The most thing I enjoyed was at the very end when we took a group picture, and I'm hugging people, my friends from Israel from 40 years. Yes, we won, but if we lost, we'd still be hugging and having a great time.
The U.S. women's team took silver in saber fencing and the foil against host nation Israel.
We're here for the fun of it. We're here for the experience overall, because a lot of us are collegiate athletes. We're just getting the experience of fencing people with different styles.
Whether this is an athlete's first Maccabia or they've competed on the international stage before, one thing holds true. The experiences created here will last a lifetime. Reporting at the Leader Sports Center, Dylan Manfrey, Maccabi Media.
At the Maccabiah, sometimes athletes play for different countries than the one they are a citizen of. Freya Levy is a point guard for the U.S. Paralympic basketball team, but put on her Maccabi Great Britain warm-up shirt after a recent game. The words Great Britain are just that, words.
No, sport is a universal language. I'm just happy to be here, happy to experience this. And USA have been great to welcome me in with open arms for the second year in a row. So yeah, I'm very happy to be here, very happy to play with USA on my chest.
Getting diagnosed with muscular dystrophy 12 years ago prevented her from playing able-bodied sports. She enjoys basketball just the same, and the U.S. coach loves having her on the team.
Freya's great. So she is a world-class athlete. She's on 4 national teams in Great Britain, and she brings a lot of grit. Actually, I mean, look at her face. It's all black from all the sweat and whatever. So we're really happy to have her play with us.
She feels most like herself when she's on the court, saying the feeling is fantastic. Reporting from the YMCA in Jerusalem, Dylan Manfrey, Maccabi Media.
This may just look like another Maccabiah soccer game.
Being out on the field today is just unbelievable.
But for Philadelphia's Joel Rosenwasser, you can hear in his voice, it's a dream come true.
And to play out there with my friends on both sides of the field is just an amazing feeling.
Joel didn't make the roster for Maccabi USA Masters men's over 55 soccer team, but he still wanted a chance to not only play, but be a part of the 21st Maccabiah in Israel.
Great guy. He's a great competitor.
USA! Soccer Commissioner Don Kent found a way to get Joel on the field.
I was happy to give him a chance to play.
Something that hasn't been done before.
I was sort of being a free agent around the world.
He landed with Team Colombia.
I've spent time with him in Colombia and Miami, and it's an incredible experience.
And now, after months of preparation, training, Spanish lessons, Joel is facing off against his home country and his friends.
You know what? It's part of just the brotherhood and the beauty of Maccabia. I was so excited to see Joel on the field today. So proud of him. I was really proud.
So even though Joel didn't walk away with a W against USA, he's just grateful he had this opportunity to become a part of something he says has changed his life. A group of men bound by their love of sports and Judaism.
Welcome back to Jerusalem as the United States leads 2-0 after the first period of play. This game between the U.S. and Canada is brought to you by Campus Apartments. Campus Apartments, the student experience is built here. And Evan, we've had such a fun night so far. The United States got off to a quick start as Brody Selman scored the first goal for the U.S., followed by Ethan Roswell a little later in the period.
Right. The first tally was a shorthanded goal by Selman. Bit of a broken play as the penalty killers are moving up the ice. Corvey gets the puck back after a failed clearing attempt and feeds Selman in the slot, buries it over the glove. And then this one, clean face-off win. They get the puck low to high, back to Roswell, buries it once again over the glove of Rosenzweig, and that's what makes it 2-0 for the Americans.
And we'll have a switch sides as Radke's going to win the face-off. And here is Higgins with the puck. Tries to find Fensterstock, but it's going to go back into the Canada zone. And the U.S. will have to reset.
And if you're new to hockey, one interesting thing about the second period is that both teams' benches are further away from their own zone. We call that the long change. So if a team gets trapped in their own defensive zone for a long period of time, you're not going to be able to change quickly, and that line's going to be stuck out there for a while. So that's something to keep an eye on here for this next 20 minutes.
And Captain Tyler Levine will take the faceoff for the United States. Levine from Laguna Beach, California. Senior at Wesleyan, had 6 goals and 5 assists last season. And the United States will have the face-off. Fensterstock spins around, a 2-on-1 in front of the goal. Fensterstock, and a great save by Rosenzweig.
I can't believe that puck stayed out, Evan, as we get some pushing and shoving after the whistle. And it looks like David Radke might be shaken up here for Team Canada. He's out at the top of the circles on a knee, and the trainer is coming out to look at him. But my goodness, what a spectacular sprawling save by Josh Rosenzweig there. He's got that Dominic Hasek face mask, and he looked like Hasek there, abandoning all semblance of technique, sprawling out across the blue paint, and somehow coming up with the save.
And Sammy May, to your credit, is going to go to the box. Actually, we'll have 2 players to the box. Sammy May for Canada, and we'll get word on who the United States player is in just a moment. I believe it's Remy Parker.
I believe you're right, Evan. Looks like we're going to get matching minor penalties here from the extracurriculars after the whistle. And we'll get our first taste of 4-on-4 hockey tonight.
And it is going to be Remy Parker. The 2 were scuffed up by the goal, and we'll wait another few moments for the goal to get replaced. But there's Remy Parker on your screen. Parker, it's been one of the big momentum points for this team from Montclair, New Jersey. The left winger was born 4/27/98. Goes to Utica University, had 5 goals and 5 assists in 2022, and he's a communications and media major.
Yeah, maybe he'll be on our media team for the next Maccabia in 2025. But Parker at 6'3" is one of the biggest forwards on either team. And having him out for this 2 minutes is going to be a major blow to the U.S. But the good news for them is he takes a fellow top liner in Sammy May with him.
And here's Tyler Levine, a 2-on-1 Fensterstock, and a good save there by Kyle Becker.
Yeah,
United States will keep possession. Fensterstock, Levine, Higgins, and Ethan Howell. Ethan Howell, a wrister. No good. Fensterstock can't come up with it, and he throws it too high.
That's the second wide open net he's missed tonight. Bomb of a shot, and just missed that one wide.
Fensterstock fighting, keep it in, and Canada will have possession.
And just before that, they were trying to set up Fensterstock for a one-timer. We mentioned he has a bullet of a one-timer. We saw that in warm-ups, but a good stick by Becker to knock that away.
Becker, good save there. And Tyler Levine and the Americans look to counter. Here's Higgins. Higgins fights, retains possession, drops it back to Levine. Levine can't connect with Higgins. And Howell will play it around. And Radke down low. Yeah, Evan?
Excuse me. Back to that save from Rosenzweig, that spectacular save. Canada got themselves in a bit of a bind here at the start of the period. That's really got to settle things down, knowing that your goaltender just bailed you out like that. We'll see if they can get one back for him here.
Weitzman. That's Krill, but the Americans have possession. Scanello tries to find number 28. It's Abazov. And here's Corpy.
Delayed offsides here. But back to that comparison I made earlier in the game between this U.S. squad and the Toronto Maple Leafs under Sheldon Keefe. You'll notice these American forwards, love to double back into their own zone, regroup, and see if they can find additional space. That's part of their style. They don't mind hogging the puck for as long as possible if it means they can get a better look, as there's a backhander from Fader that goes just wide over the glove.
And the power play is going to be over as Remy Martin comes out of the box. United States looks at a 4-on-3 rush here. And Avazov tries to pass over the middle. Here's Daniel Radke, the captain, out ahead. Here's Sammy May. And a good defensive slide there by Corpy. And May plays it back off the walls.
And he just took a penalty, high stick. He got Corpy up high, and there's going to be some extra pushing and shoving here after the whistle.
Right in that scrum is Jeremy Kaufman and Avazov, Remy Parker. Man, he's been everywhere. He's been a little pest for this Canadian team today.
Yeah, 2 mistakes there by Sammy May. He had a chance to take that to the front of the net, tried to feed the slot again. We've mentioned how Canada's been a little bit passive on these entries, and same thing happens there. Loses the puck, trying to go around the net, and then high sticks the defenseman for the U.S. So the Americans going to get another crack at the power play here, and we mentioned, although their power play has been struggling, you can't just keep giving them chances because eventually they are going to find the back of the net.
And for the United States right now, Canelo, but taking the face-off, Zev Diener Chadarkir. He'll face off against, I believe, number 24. That's Cameron Weitzman from Montreal, Quebec. And a whistle's blown as Michaels will spin around and look to get set. Here we go. 16:57 remain. United States up 2-0. Canada takes another penalty, and the U.S. will be on a power play, and that's cleared out.
And Michael Gershon has decided to send the second power play unit out there for this first face-off. You've got,
it's played up ahead. Here's Ganello to number 22, Alex Krause. Can't get there. Krause's sister won a silver medal yesterday after the women's open team for the United States lost to Canada, and a shot there for the U.S. by Krause. It's just a bit wide. Krause now out to Roswell. Can't connect there. Good save by Rosenzweig, and the United States will have to reset.
Yeah, good job clearing that rebound by the Canadian defenseman. That one caromed out into the low slot, and there was potential there for one of the Americans to clean that up. It's a failed clear here.
And a shot, and it's too high. Good try there by Avazov. And here is Fensterstock down low. He's going to find Higgins back to Fensterstock with time. Fensterstock loads up. Good block by Radke.
And this is the most dangerous power play that the U.S. has had so far. A couple good looks here already.
And a slap shot, but no good. Higgins can't get it fully. Captain Tyler Levine finds over the middle, and it's a goal! The United States up 3-0, and they capitalize on the power play opportunity.
It's Avazov who scored from the low slot there. We mentioned earlier how they weren't working the middle of the ice very much. They were using the half-wall positions to get most of those shots on the net. Here, they find Avazov in the bumper position, right in front of the blue paint. He frees his stick up and buries this one past Rosenzweig, who has no chance to make the save.
And a bunch of Bears, again, flying on to the ice. We'll have a stoppage in play, but the United States up 3-0, and they're able to capitalize on the power play. Now you got to be thinking, if you're Canada, you're now down 3-0. What do you do? What's the mindset?
There's enough time left, Evan, where you don't really need to start taking chances yet, but I would imagine that Coach Adam Schell is going to put his lines in a bit of a blender here. They just haven't been able to generate enough offensively. He's got to get something going on offense and also stay out of the box. We mentioned you can't keep giving this American squad opportunities with all the talent they have on that power play unit, and they finally find a wrinkle in the Canadian penalty kill there, and they exploit it for a 3-0 goal. And it looks like Coach Schell is having a lengthy discussion with his team here. They didn't signal that he used his timeout, and it doesn't appear that he has, but a quick talking to there for the red and black, and we'll see if it makes a difference here as they now trail by 3.
And just a bit of a historical reminder, Coach Schell, as well as Daniel Radke, have won 2 gold medals in the last 2 games. In 13 they came here and won. 17 they beat the United States in the gold medal game, but now 15:40 remaining in the second period. A lot of hockey left to be played, but Canada finds themselves in a 3-0 hole.
And we have another development here, Evan. We have a goaltending change for Team Canada. Eli Pulver has come into the net for Rosenzweig. An unexpected goalie change by the Canadians, as that last goal he had absolutely no chance to save, and his night apparently is over.
And Gruber trying for the American rush there. Can't get anything. Here's List. List out to number 44. Antilles plays it through. Here's Burke right there, but it'll be taken by the Canadians.
And if I had to guess, Evan, this is Adam Schell trying to light a fire under his team more than anything. Rosenzweig, none of those goals you can really pin on him especially. He made some great saves, and if anything, this is sending a message to his team that you hung your goalie out to dry, you need to be better.
And there's a high hit.
It's going to be an interference call.
Called against Antilles, and he'll head to the box of Canada just like that. Go down 3-0. Now they got a power play and an opportunity to get one back.
And you got to capitalize on this if you're the Canadians. Adam Schell told us in the first meeting they found themselves in a similar situation, down 3-0. That time in the first period, they had a chance to pull within 2. They couldn't finish it, and now they find themselves in a similar situation on the power play. They have to capitalize here.
The Becker brothers, the Radke brothers, and Matthew Fader will be out for the Canadian power play, as the United States also sends out Levine, Fensterstock, Remy Martin, and Ethan Howell.
And it was Fader that had that glorious chance on the power play earlier for Canada where he just wasn't able to elevate the puck. We'll see if he can make up for it here.
And there in the net you can see that's the new goalie, Eli Pulver. And in just a moment we're going to send it down to the third member of our crew, Griffin Epstein. So we're waiting for play to potentially resume. And the refs find something on the ice, it looks like. If you're Coach Adam Schell, this is the line that you want on the ice. This is where you have to get that goal.
Right, and a quick aside about Eli Pulver. When we prodded Coach Schell about who he was going to start tonight, he said it was a tough decision. He believes in both guys. And Rosenzweig did what he could, and now it's Pulver's turn to finish this for Team Canada.
And an easy glove save there by Bavarnik, as we're going to send it down to the third member of our crew. And again, just a few moments, Griffin Epstein getting ready to go. Levine and Radke with the face-off, won by Levine. And a quick clear away by the Americans.
Yeah,
Canada will have to reset.
Excuse me, Evan. David Radke did everything he could to hold that puck in, and it was actually punched out by Fader, his own man. A little bit of a mistake there.
And here's another shorthanded look, and a good shot there by Max Roth. That'll force the new goalie, Pulver, to hold it, and we'll get another face-off.
Pulver was a bit late to react on that shot, and that's the risk you run making a goaltending change at this point in the game. Pulver hasn't seen any shots in an hour before that one. He's been sitting on the bench, and he's going in cold. So it's not uncommon for goaltenders put in that situation to give up an early one. Thankfully, that shot went well wide.
And the Canadians will win that face-off and get ready to go on a rush. 1:20 remains in this power play. The United States up 3-0. There's a mistake by the Canadians, and we'll get a late whistle.
Looks like an offside here, but you are right, Evan. An ill-advised drop pass on the power play, and it nearly comes back to bite Team Canada.
And we're going to send it down to the third member of our crew, Griffin Epstein, for more until the game resumes. Griffin, what do you got for us?
Hey guys, Canada is in a big hole here, 3-0, but a guy that can help the comeback, their captain, Dan Radke. And what a story he is. Originally he is an American citizen, born in the San Francisco Bay Area, played his college hockey in Michigan, but when he tried out for the U.S. hockey team in 2013, they made him an alternate. So instead he went to Canada. He's won 2 gold medals in 2013 and 2017 with the Canadians. He's trying to win his third today, but it is a long road back right now. Guys?
Thanks, Griffin. And the USA chants start to roar here at Pice Arena as the Americans up 3-0. 48 seconds remain on this power play. Corpy, and a good clear there by number 13, George Wiener. Canada forced to reset. Pulver way out of his goal, and they'll get just about 1 or 2 more rushes here as Devin Becker leads the charge for Canada. Shoots it in over the glove of Bavarnik.
And another reason why it's so crucial for Canada to make this power play count is they are playing under man tonight, only 10 forwards and 5D, so the fatigue is going to start to play a big role the later we get into this game, Evan.
Sammy May to Devin Becker, back to May. May with a wrister and a good block there by Corpy. Kept in the zone. And racing after it is number 14 of Canada, Matthew Shuckett. He'll have the puck again. Throws it back. United States power play is going to be over, so 44 Antilles comes back onto the ice for the U.S. Sammy May. Here's a shot down low. Passed up on.
And now the issue for the Americans is you have 3 defensemen on the ice. They've got to get a change here.
One clear for the U.S. Shuckett. Shot. Good save there by the pad of Bavarnik.
And May took a rough ride behind the net there. And there's going to be a penalty out of this as he was hit hard into the boards a few seconds prior.
A shot by Bavalka. Saved, and there it is. That's your penalty you were talking about.
It's going to be a roughing call, I believe, against the U.S.
Going to the box is going to be number 13, George Wiener. As the U.S. will also adjust lines a little bit. Roswell, Higgins comes on. So does Diener Chadurker.
Well, Evan, we mentioned that the Americans had to get one of their 3 defensemen off the ice. I don't think that's the way they wanted to do it, as Wiener follows up his D partner Antilles in the box very quickly thereafter. And the Canadians will get yet another crack on the man advantage, but to be perfectly honest, that last one did not look convincing at all.
Weitzman, Stein, Daniel Radke, and both of the Becker brothers on the ice for Canada. Devin out, and a costly mistake as Canada will have to reset.
Yeah, there have been quite a few hiccups at the blue line on the power play for Canada. Just pucks that have to stay in the zone that have come out due to either lack of communication or bad positioning, and the Americans get another easy clearance there.
Bavarnik got a little lucky, tried to push it out with his pad, fell short. Luckily, right there to push it out was Roswell, and he'll have the puck right now. Played back in. Here's Daniel Radke, the captain for Canada. Coach Shell told us earlier that if he wins another gold, he should be carrying the Canadian flag into the Canada Maccabi Hall of Fame. A shot there. A good save. And another missed shot and a missed opportunity by Weitzman. Here's Devin Becker. Crosses Radke. And a poke save for Diener Chadurker. He'll come off the ice and we'll get a change. Tyler Levine comes on for the Americans. Here's a rush by Becker.
Great stick there by Diener Chadurker, excuse me. I don't even think he knew where that puck was. He was turning.
And that'll be out of play. Roswell getting into it with Weitzman. I don't believe it got touched. We'll see if he's going to go to the box.
There's going to be
Canada might have a 5-on-3 right here.
There's going to be at least one call out of this because Roswell took a big old whack at one of the Canadian players right in front of the official.
And they're going to send Roswell to the box. Not sure what it's going to be on. It didn't look like his clearance was deflected or anything. So I believe it's going to be for intentional icing. And Canada, a great opportunity to get one back now. 5-on-3, and they'll have one of their top lines on. Bulvalka, Sammy May, Fader, Kyle Becker, and Michaels on the ice. And the United States will try to hold off Canada. Remember, 53 seconds remains on number 13, George Wiener's penalty, and now 2 minutes against Roswell.
And they're going to take Cameron Weitzman as well from the Canadian side. I think he may have also gotten a whack in on Roswell. So coincidental minors there, and it might stay 5-on-4 here.
Actually, I believe you're right. I was going to say for a second maybe 4-on-3. And that's 24 for Canada. Cameron Weitzman going to go to the box, and we will have a 5-on-4 as play continues. Canada keeps it in the zone.
I don't blame you for thinking it should have been 5-on-3, Evan. That was a nasty two-handed slash by Roswell, and he's lucky he only got 2 minutes out of it.
Here's Sammy May now. Looks to drive. Across the Becker. The shot, no good, and a good clear there by Captain Tyler Levine.
Great save there by Bavarnik. Very quick movement from his left to his right. He's been very good moving about his crease tonight, and a great save there off a tough chance.
And the call will be slashing against number 3. Against Roswell.
Yeah, they haven't put that 2 minutes on the board, but we know he got taken to the box, so We're just a step ahead of the scorekeepers here, Evan.
And here comes the United States. Cooper Fensterstock plays it back into the Canadian defensive zone, and the U.S. will make a line change.
And you love seeing those skill players for the U.S. out here on the penalty kill. Levine and Fensterstock were the two forwards for that last sequence, and both of them played an integral role in getting that clearance for the U.S.
A whistle's going to be blown. I believe it's going to be maybe an icing.
I think the net is also dislodged at the Canadian end. It looks like one of the pegs came undone, so they're going to have to address that real quick.
But the United States will have a face-off in the zone. The U.S. also appears to be back to full strength.
Yep.
Yes, the George Weiner penalty comes to a close. And number 28 for the U.S., Abazov, who's got a goal already tonight, takes the face-off and wins it. A good wrister there by Diener Chudurker. Here's Higgins with the puck down low. Tries to feed it through to Remy Martin. Kraus. And cleared by the Canadians. Sent back through by Higgins. Pulver tries to get it, but it's going to go to Remy Martin.
That was almost another dangerous opportunity for Abazov there in the low slot. He is really good at finding that open ice, and he just missed that feed from Kraus.
Stein plays it in, but pushed away by Antilles. But kept in. Abazov and Daniel Radke. Antilles fighting, pushing in there. Canada's going to retain possession. Good hit there by Antilles. He'll have the puck. And find Remy Martin. Martin cross to Levine. Levine can't do anything with that. Canada will get it. There's Kyle Becker. Throw it through to Orgill. Somebody that coach said needs to step up tonight. Orgill with a shot, and it's a goal! Right on cue. Orgill scores the goal. Benji stepping up. And Canada 3-1 now.
And that's a huge goal. We mentioned they needed to get the next one. Going down by 4 was just not an option here. And it's a bit against the flow of play here. They get a clearance. Orgill skates it out. And I think this hits the stick of the defenseman, Michael Higgins, for the U.S. Fools Bavarnik, goes over the glove, and it's a bit of a lucky break for Canada, but they all count the same, and that's a huge goal. They're back to within 2.
Orgill goes bar down. And a great goal in Canada. Maybe some momentum here. Crowd gets into it as well.
Without a doubt, it's a bit of a stunner. The U.S. had some momentum prior to that. They spent some time in the Canadian zone. To the Canadians' credit, they killed a play, get the puck out, and Orgill all by himself finds the back of the net.
Orgill, Canada native, but also has nationalities in Israel. Played for the Northern Cyclones of the USPHL last season, had 3 goals and 3 assists. And adds a goal here in the gold medal game for Canada.
I bet Israel wishes they had tried a little bit harder to get him to play for them. But I think when he tells the story of how he scored that one, he's going to leave out the part where it was deflected. But nonetheless, a much-needed goal for the Canadians. And the Canadian crowd has gotten back into this one.
Kyle Becker is going to be credited with the assist. 8:30 to go here. 3-1. United States still with the lead. And here comes Diener Chudurker. Up the ice, loses it, but right behind him is Brody Selman. Selman already a goal tonight. Back to Diener Chudurker, and he'll be tangled at the wall with Bulwaka. Getting in there, Selman. Now Selman's got the puck. Devin Becker pushes him down, a big hit. No call there. Play resumes, the shot. And a save by Pulver.
And that's one area where the Canadian team has a decisive advantage here. It's in the corners and behind the net. These defensemen are huge. Hand pass called here. But these defensemen, especially the Beckers, are absolutely massive. They dwarf the American forwards. So when there's a puck up against the wall like that, the Canadians are going to come out with it almost every time.
And to your point, Canada's a younger team. They don't have as much depth as the United States, but they do have size up front.
And the veterans that they do have are very experienced. They have 4 returners from 2017, including Dan Radke, who we talked about, also 1 goal in 2013. So they've been here before. They've had to play from behind before, although not in this tournament. And they're going to need to dig deep here through this last 28 minutes if they want to get level with the U.S.
Roswell dances through. Goes around a couple Canadians, tries to fit it in, but Pulver, his pad was just too high.
Yeah, way to squeeze the post there by Pulver as a bit of a deceptive shot there by Roswell. Tried to sneak it in short side. Pulver said no.
Burke with the shot there, and that's going to be a foul called against Canada.
It's a high stick on Kyle Becker, I believe.
Did look like Becker was in there. I believe you are correct. And the United States now with an opportunity to get a 3-0 lead again. And Coach Gershon's going to send out his top line in Levine, Remy Martin, Cooper Fensterstock, and Brandon Avazov.
Another ill-timed penalty there by the Canadians, and they lose one of their top penalty killers in Becker as well, which is sure to make a difference here. Great shot blocker, obviously very steady physical presence. And my mistake, Evan, it's actually an elbowing call. I saw Zach Gruber reach up for his face, thought it was a high stick, turns out it was Becker's elbow, which just shows you how much taller he is than everyone else on the ice.
Good job there by Fensterstock to keep it in.
2 minutes for elbowing at 12:38 of the second period.
The shot there, just a bit wide for Higgins, and the United States will have to reset.
Yeah, bomb there from Higgins, and just missed on the blocker side.
And Higgins comes, leads the rush for the Americans. Drops it, shot, follow, puck's loose in front of the net, and we're going to get a whistle blown and a stoppage of play. Looks like the net again came out of the ice.
Right you are, Evan, and a bit of a tenuous sequence there for the Canadians. That puck was loose, and none of the American forwards could quite seem to find it. Fensterstock had the best chance, I think, and he just didn't get there quick enough. A great job by the Canadian penalty killer to clear that away from him.
And we're going to go down to the third member of our team, Griffin Epstein, in just a few moments. But for now, the Americans will win the face-off. Martin, back to Higgins. Higgins to Fensterstock. Fensterstock tries to go through the middle. Avazov doesn't have anything. U.S. taking their time. Will reset. Higgins looks to shoot. Dekes out the defender. And Remy Martin now with the puck. Minute and 6 seconds remains on this power play. Higgins back to Fensterstock. Fensterstock the shot. And a good save by Pulver.
There's that one-timer we talked about, and he didn't get all of that one either. That was a little bit off the heel of the stick. Still got it on the net and forced Pulver to make a save.
And now the U.S. will have to reset as Avazov's going to throw it out of the zone. Bavarnik steps up high. Onsides is Remy Martin. Ref calls it good. And good stop there by Pulver, but the U.S. is going to be able to reset, take their time, and find something.
That was a heck of a play by Parker to sprawl out at the blue line, and keep that on sides, and nearly gets rewarded with a scoring chance as he blasts that one wide as well.
And the U.S. again will have to reset. Remy Martin there. All over.
And one thing I've liked about this particular power play for the Americans, Evan, is they've changed the point of attack. They haven't just worked one side of the ice like they were earlier. They're moving it around, trying to set up different guys, as an emphatic glove save there by Pulver. You think he's feeling it or what?
I definitely do. And we're going to send it down to the third member of our crew. Griffin, what's going on? And some difficulties there. We'll have Griffin in just a few moments.
Griff's had a rough night, but we love him all the same. The Zamboni almost turned him into Flat Stanley after the first intermission, but
Canada comes back to full strength. Roswell up to the top. Quick shot deflected off the stick of number 18, Jesse Lowell.
I think somebody just got a souvenir, Evan.
I actually think the puck just came back on the ice, but I was going to say, do they keep pucks in Israel?
I'm not sure. I would imagine they do let you keep them, but I heard the crowd cheer. I figured somebody caught it. Evidently not. And a little pushing and shoving here after the whistle. Jesse Lowell has decided he does not like Duke Litvin. And probably there's going to be a penalty call out of this. He got in a couple cross checks.
Definitely going to be a penalty call as Lowell's going to head to the box. The Northbrook, Illinois native plays at the University of Arizona. His brothers also played at UA, and that's a big reason why he went there. He's an elite guy with great upside. Said his coach at UA, dependable forward with a strong full game, and he's shown it tonight. Had 9 goals and 12 assists in 2022, but heads to the box for the Americans tonight.
Yeah, and it's really just letting your emotion get the best of you there. And there's no need for that when you're up 2 goals late in the period. You did just give up a bit of a stunner, but you really can't lose your composure like that. And it's going to give the Canadians yet another crack at the power play here right after they get a big kill. So momentum squarely on the Canadian side here, and the U.S. is going to have to respond.
Wiener, Corpy, Levine, and Fensterstock are all going to be on the ice for the United States. Here's Fader to May. May up top. Quick shot there by Becker, but no good. And Sammy May will get the puck again. Feed it down low. Back to May. May up top. It's Kyle Becker to May. May with a quick wrister, and it's no good.
And again, a little bit of passiveness from Canada on this power play. Not trying to work the seams at all. Really just going around the boards.
Really good clear there by Corpy. Corpy from Rybrook, New York. Played at Colby College, D3 school. 15 games and 1 assist last season. And the U.S. will keep it clear and have possession. 1 minute and 5 seconds remain on the Lowell power play.
Bit of a soft play there by Becker behind his own goal line. Nearly intercepted, and it would have set up a shorthanded chance from the U.S. Got to be a little stronger there.
Here's Devin Becker, plays it into the U.S. zone and away. And that's going to be deflected. So we'll have a face-off in the neutral zone.
Yeah, and again, Canada just looks a little uneasy on this power play. They've had plenty of chances tonight, plenty of opportunities, that is, on the man advantage. And they've gone over, and you wonder if that's starting to affect their psyche a little bit, because they've only been working the perimeter here. They haven't been working the middle of the ice at all. And the only way you're going to score goals from the perimeter is if you get a deflection or set up a rebound chance. But that hasn't happened with the way Bavarnik's been playing. So they've got to rethink their approach here a little bit.
Max Roth, Zeev Diener Chodurker, Ethan Roswell, and number 19. Michael Janello on the ice now for the Americans. Janello, an East Windsor, New Jersey native. He's played in Finland with Muke and Tel Aviv with HC Tel Aviv. Professionally, Framingham State University grad. And the Canadians now have 36 seconds on the power play. As Radke drops it back. Daniel Radke now plays it through and around. We'll find Kyle Becker, who plays it back around. Down low. Out to a Radke. Here's Daniel with time. Sets up a quick shot. And a good deflection there down low by Roth. And a big hit.
And one thing about this power play that's interesting is they have Kyle Becker as their net front man, the defenseman, really taking full advantage of that 6'4" frame here. You don't see that very often, but it almost worked there as he was in pretty good position to deflect that puck and just missed it.
And out comes Lowell, and the United States will be back at full strength. 3:06 remains here in the second period. The United States is up 3-1, and we'll send it down to the third member of our team, Griffin Epstein. Griffin.
Hey guys, glad you can hear me now. Jewish hockey has been growing in Israel. In 2017 here at the Maccabia, had the biggest ever crowd to watch a ice hockey game in the Middle East. Another big crowd today, and hey, Jewish hockey has been growing. The Edmonton Oilers have Zach Hyman. He's a proud Jew. He wears number 18, and he played here in the Maccabia in 2013. Won gold with Canada. Will one of these players be a Stanley Cup, battling for the Stanley Cup in the future? We'll see. Guys?
Thanks, and one of those players potentially could be the goalie that was pulled earlier, Josh Rosenswag. Coach Shell told us earlier he may be an NHLer one day. He is that good, but tonight, Coach Shell had to make a statement, and unfortunately, he got benched in favor of Pulver. As here's Remy Parker. Parker with a shot, good deflection, and a good save there by Canada. The clear, and the United States has to reset with 2:30 remaining in the second period.
And Benji Orgel just saved the goal there. That was a big rebound given up by Pulver, and one of the Americans was about to pounce on it.
Parker the shot, and it's off. Angeles tries to throw it in, rattles around and out of the U.S. offensive zone. And there is Higgins to reset. Line change for the Americans. Spencer Stock coming in, as well as Brody Selman. Selman has a goal. A deep pass. The shot. And it's going to be whistled offside.
Tough break there for the Americans as Spencer Stock was in by himself. A breakaway from the tops of the circles down. And he was about to go to his backhand. Little forehand backhand action there. Looks like he might have had Pulver beat. But as we see the replay here, this is one of the oldest tricks in the book. And he might have been able to lift that over the right pad of Eli Pulver had the whistle not blown.
Face-off will be in the U.S. defensive zone. Now an odd man rush for the Americans. Here's Selman. Selman the shot. Saved by Pulver. Trying to hook it around. Kept in the zone by Corpy. Played through, finds Tyler Levine. Levine can't do much there.
Couple uneasy saves in a row for Pulver.
As here's Selman again. It's going to go out to George Weiner. Back to Corpy. And here comes Sammy May with the puck. A 2-on-1 for the Canadians. A great stick save there by Weiner as he stops the 2-on-1. And that'll trickle out of the zone. 1:20 remaining here. And just passed in by Brody Selman. And a line change comes here for the United States. Sammy May sees what he can do. Throws it in the body of the American defender. And here comes Captain Levine. 1 minute remains here in the second period. Levine dances. Can't find anything. Weitzman now with the puck. Looking to go the other way. 1-on-4. The shot just wide. Roswell fighting now for the puck. Michaels for Canada has it.
Excuse me, Evan.
And here's Weitzman again. Will he get it in time and shot? And that goes into the stands again. And honestly, onto the concourse right there.
Yeah, somebody almost made a terrific glove save. He had a drink in one hand. The other one was free. Almost a spectacular save there. But a couple good scoring chances for the Canadians. The first one set up by a really bad pinch by Clay Corpy. Jumps up in the play, then turns the puck over. It's a 2-on-1 the other way. And then that last chance, Weitzman in tight. Just can't quite get it on net.
Abazov, Higgins, Levine, Janello, and Bavarnik on for the Americans. Bavarnik has got a bit of action in the last couple of minutes.
He has after
there's a quick shot there. Daniel Radke with the puck. Sends it through. An opportunity, but unable to convert is Shuckett, and the Americans clear it from the zone. Pulver comes out far to grab the puck, throws it around off the boards. 20 seconds remain here in the second period. And we'll get a call.
That's going to be whistled down off sides, I believe, Evan. And to your point about Bavarnik, he's gone long periods without facing any shots, and he's never really seemed to fall out of his rhythm. He looks sharp on every save he makes, clearly confident, playing at the top of his crease a lot. And I'd feel good if I were the Americans going into this third period with that guy in between the pipes.
And in 16.7 seconds, Griffin is going to catch up with Coach Gershon to talk about how the first two periods are going as the Americans look to be 20 minutes away from their first gold medal this century. And that's going to be played back in by Higgins. A whistle sounded like it'll blow, but I don't think it will. 4 seconds remain here. Just a deep clear there by Canada. And the United States will go into the locker room up 3-1 after 40 minutes of play. Evan, what surprised you in this second period?
Well, I really liked the resilience of Team Canada. Going down 2-0 in the first period, not scoring in the first. Easy to get rattled, especially in a game of this magnitude, but they stuck with it. They made almost no mistakes in that period, aside from the first goal that ultimately got their goalie pulled. But they responded well after the change was made by Adam Schell, and they're in a decent position going into this final 20 minutes, Evan.
And the Zamboni's going to come out as we wait for Griffin to catch up with Coach Gershon. Hopefully they don't get hit by a Zamboni this time.
Yeah, I trust that Griffin's learned his lesson after that near miss earlier in the game. But the good news is he wouldn't be the only one to get flattened tonight. There have been some big hits.
And here's Griffin with Coach Gershon.
All right, here with Coach Gershon. Coach, you're up 3-1. What have you liked from your team so far in the first two periods?
I liked our first period. I hated our second period. We're in the box way too much.
all Canada wants to do is get in our heads, and we fell for it, and it's we let them back in the game. So for us, we've got to get out of our own way. I think that's the biggest thing. If we play like we did in the first period, we'll be absolutely fine. If we get into a penalty-filled fest in the third, okay, it's anybody's game. 20 minutes away from a gold medal. How do you keep your team's head on their shoulders?
Yeah, I think we just got to keep it simple, right? We're trying to be too fancy, playing to the crowd. This is a big building for a lot of our guys, and we talked about it a lot, but you can't really adjust to it until you're involved in it. And so we just got to play the right way. As much as there's so much more extra room than we're used to, we just have to keep it simple, make them come 200 feet. We've got 2-goal leads, so we got to get the next one.
Thanks, Coach. Best of luck rest of the way.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Griffin. The United States, after 40 minutes of play, up 3-1. We'll be back in just a few for the third and final period before a gold medal is presented out to one of these teams.
It was a disappointing finish for Maccabi USA Open Men's 3-on-3 basketball as they lost to Uruguay in the bronze medal match 11-8 on Tuesday evening.
We're just deflated. We didn't come out. They wanted it more. Well, I think we're a very skilled, more skilled team. They came out strong, and their big man really played well. He's an excellent player.
Playing in an unfamiliar setting on the beach played a role in the team's loss.
Shooting here is difficult because of the wind, and we went like 1 for 12 in our last 3 games from 3 or something abysmal like that. So, yeah, we need to learn how to play with the wind a little bit better, I think.
Although it wasn't the outcome the U.S. wanted at the Maccabia village, the players enjoyed their time in the first ever 3-on-3 tournament.
I'm really honored to be part of the inaugural games. Made a lot of friends, evidently, and I'm just happy to be here. It was great. Great. I'm glad they're doing it now.
It's so much more than just, medals. It's about the connections, the experience, and coming to Israel. So, it's nothing we're going to hang our heads about.
This marks the end of the inaugural 3-on-3 basketball tournament in the Maccabia Games. For Maccabi Media, I'm Sam Ostry.
Here at the Poleg Beach in Israel, it's the official Maccabi village. So come on with me, let's take a tour. The first stop on the tour is our great merch stand here in the Maccabi village. And I gotta say, there's a lot of things I wanna buy. Guys, did you guys buy anything special today?
Got it, bought for the family. Got something for my, let's see. I got my bucket hat.
Oh.
You gotta get out, you gotta keep cool in the heat, so here. There you go.
Hey, there it is.
That's it. You gotta be styling. This is the place to be, guys. Come on down.
Why is my stomach growling?
Well, it's a good thing our next stop is the food court, the official food court of the Maccabi Games. Come on, let's check it out.
Shalom, shalom. This is schnitzel. What do you guys think of schnitzel? It's good. It's good? That is good. That's really good. What do you guys think of the schnitzel? Your mom made this. Your mom did an excellent job.
This part of the tour is really cool. Right behind me, you see the course of the Maccabi Ninja Warrior set, where warriors and athletes from all over the world actually compete right here in front of a cheering crowd, hoping to have their feet not touch the ground. And that concludes our tour, and all you have to do now is see it to believe it. Charlie Goldberg, Maccabi Media.
A thriller to advance to the final. Maccabi USA has just enough to beat Brazil in 4 sets as the Americans get past the Brazilians for the second time this tournament, this time to advance them to the gold medal game on Friday.
The rematch was much closer than the U.S.'s 3-0 win one day earlier, as the U.S. U18 girls volleyball team found troubles against Brazil from the first serve of their semifinal bout. While the Americans were able to get some of their shots in, a lack of shot control early on plagued them, as the Brazilians took set 1 25-17.
I feel like we definitely pushed through it, and even though the scoreboard may have shown that we were losing, we definitely kept our heads up and kept fighting and pulled it out.
The troubles continued early in the second set, but the U.S. kept their energy up and some good results would follow. The U.S. were finally able to get into a rhythm that helped them come back for a win in sets 2 and 3.
I feel like volleyball's a very energetic sport, and it's really easy to mess up and just like forget everything. So I feel like bringing a lot of energy to the court is really important, because even if you're losing, you can make it feel like you're winning and then just take off.
The match was not over yet though, with the Brazilians not giving up easily. Brazil built a late lead before the U.S. came crawling back. As tensions rose on both sides, Maccabi USA head coach Michael Gill called the timeout.
He told us that we have to put the effort in for every single ball, and we had let a lot of balls drop between us without communication, and we're one team, so we really have to communicate and keep the energy up and fight for every single ball no matter where it goes, and that really helped us turn things around.
The timeout was just what the team needed, as the girls responded in the come-from-behind fourth set to put the match away. 26-24 was the final score to advance the U.S. to the gold medal game.
I feel like we need to bring the same energy that we had this match and just play together, cohesive, and bring the energy.
The U.S. will go for gold against Israel on Friday, as the Americans will look to avenge an earlier 3-1 loss to the Israelis this tournament. From Ramat Elan Community Sports Hall, I'm Alex Burstein, Maccabi Media.
The United States has a 3-1 lead heading into the third period. This broadcast between the United States and Canada is brought to you by 76 Capital. 76 Capital, shaping the future of sports. It's also brought to you by Campus Apartments. Campus Apartments, the student experience built here. And finally, this game is brought to you by Evolution Health Group. Evolution Health Group, we have evolved. And Evan, the United States has evolved. They have changed. Coach Gershon said he didn't like that play, but if you're Canada, they've also evolved too.
Right, really good response by the Canadians there in the second period. Started off with a hiccup. U.S. gets that power play goal from Avazov early. The goaltender gets pulled for the Canadians, but to their credit, they fought back through the rest of the period. A lot of opportunities on the power play, gave them momentum, and then finally Benji Orgel gets them on the board with that one goal in transition that glances off the stick of the defenseman for the U.S. But Canada finds themselves in a manageable position here going into the final 20 minutes. You're only down 2. You don't need to take chances yet. Just keep doing what you're doing, and you may be able to chip away.
And you'll take a look here at the goal. There's the first one by Avazov. And here, the game breaker for the Canadians. That was Orgel's goal, bar down. Just a great shot from Benji. And we'll resume play here. 20 minutes to go. The United States, 3-1 lead. Gold medal on the line. And Tyler Levine wins the faceoff for the Americans.
And we mentioned the Canadians got a little bit of a bounce off that goal from Orgel. They might need a couple more because the goaltender, Jarrett Bavarnik, in between the pipes for the USA has been spectacular so far. Not overly busy, but that might change here in this third period, Evan.
And not to mention, the second goalie in the game for the Canadians, Eli Pulver, has also played very well.
He has. He looked a little uneasy at first, which is understandable given how long he sat on the bench without facing any shots. But he's come in and done his job for the Canadians and given them an opportunity to get back in this game.
Here's Daniel Radke now with the puck. And that's going to be Shuckett now. Off the end, flipped in, kept in the zone by Devin Becker. And Higgins just going to sit on it and watch something develop. He'll go back off the boards to Max Roth.
And I'm sure that's something the U.S. defensemen are going to do a lot of. Just delay below your own goal line and take as long as you can to get the puck out.
And a good stick there by Stein as the United States was looking to set up number 22, Alex Krause, with a shot. And the U.S. will play it out again as Canada will have to reset. It's Kyle Becker who slips. Becker, big stature. Here's an opportunity for the Canadians and a good save by Bavarnik.
Yeah, shot right on there from Kaufman on the one-timer, and Bavarnik in great position to make this save. Hits him right in between the 3 and the 0 on the crest of his jersey. As we get another look at it here. Good feed there at the blue line, and it's a shot right on from Kaufman, but great positioning from Bavarnik, and very, very easy-looking save there.
Fader wins the face-off, but just out of the reach of Radke, and we'll get another face-off in the Canadian offensive zone. There's a look at the U.S. bench. Head coach Michael Gershon knows his team's 18 minutes and 30 seconds away from the first gold medal of the century for the Americans.
Yeah, and if you're the U.S., you can't put the cart before the horse here. You just got to play your game, make sure that you don't give up this lead, and worry about the rest later. But some good pressure here by the Canadians early on, as here they come in transition 3-on-2 if they hurry.
Feder to Litwig. Good defense there by Antilles. Feder gets knocked down. Antilles with the puck. He tries to send it along the boards. Kept in the zone by the Canadians. And Feder still there fighting for the puck. But coming out with the puck is Ethan Howell, the assistant captain. And he just misses number 28, Brandon Avazov, who's got a goal already tonight. Remember, the Americans have goals from Selman, Roswell, and Avazov. And the lone goal for Canada so far coming from Benji Orgel.
And it'll be interesting to see how the U.S. decides to manage this lead here in the third. With Canada, we know what their strategy is going to be. They're going to be shooting from all over the ice. But if you're the Americans, you keep pushing for another goal, or do you just try and get the puck to center ice and dump it in and change as quickly as possible?
And we'll see what happens over the next 17 minutes and 20 seconds. But Daniel Radke right there. Dangerous pass, shot right through the middle. And the U.S. will look to rush. But Canada been very calm coming out. They've had control in their offensive zone for most of here. The line change now is made. And the U.S. maybe looks to make a push. Here's Selman. Again, Selman had the goal tonight. Drops it off. Tries to get it to Corpy. Can't come up with it. Corpy loses the puck. And Canada now with it. Devin Becker. Good night defensively for Becker, as he'll drop it into the U.S. zone. Cleared around. Here's Max Abene. Throws it around. Here's Levine. Levine through the neutral zone. Plays it in. Levine to shot. And a good save by Pulver.
Dangerous opportunity there for Levine. The defenseman gave him a little bit too much of a gap there, and he shoots it right on. Good save by Pulver.
Sammy May plays it in. Here's Max Roth around. Tries to get it out. Bolokvika. And the United States will have one. Remy Parker. Parker the shot. And takes a hit there from Radke.
Yeah, Pulver will cover that one up. And that was a pretty good defensive play there by Radke. I believe he did get a little piece of that shot, but the gap control was much better there than on the previous rush from Levine, who had all day to shoot that puck.
U.S. top line out. Higgins, Roswell, Levine, Parker, and Fensterstock all on the ice right now. But David Radke there, able to stop Remy Parker. Radke, the brother of Daniel, played at Colorado College and University of Waterloo up in Canada.
Yeah, another one of these dual citizen guys who opted to play for the guys north of the border. I'm sure the U.S. wishes they had pursued those brothers a little bit harder.
Weitzman, Fader. Empty pass, can't come up with anything. The U.S. will have possession. Levine races for the puck. Here's a shot, and a good save by the foot of Eli Pulver. And Canada will look to throw it out of their zone. Fader passes it forward to Weitzman. Weitzman now one-on-one with Higgins. Let's see what happens. And Weitzman just tries to curl it around, but Remy Parker pushes it out a little bit.
Love that quick release from Tyler Levine. The puck just seems to fly off that stick, and a great reaction save there by Pulver with the left pad to keep that one out.
Play stop there. Higgins, Kyle Becker in the mix, and Fensterstock now with the puck. Good stop. Here's Higgins, a 2-on-2 opportunity for the Americans. And a good job there by Daniel Radke to clear it, and the Americans will have to reset.
And Kyle Becker's going to be one to watch here in the third period for Canada. He's already
Roth
played
with a quick shot.
Excuse me, Evan. He's already played big minutes tonight, and you saw him down there on the forecheck, leaving his defense spot to go below the U.S. goal line and try to win that puck out. With the amount of skating he's doing, we'll see if he gets worn down as this period moves along.
Roth and List now have the puck. Here's Max Roth battling. Clears it. Thrown into the U.S. zone. Bavarnik right there is passed up. Here's number 10, Zach Gruber. Gruber drops it off. The shot. And stopped by the sticks of the Canadians. Here comes number 14. A big hit there against Matthew Shuckett. And that puck stays in play. It looked like for a second it might have gone into the U.S. stands. And now it does.
It was Radke who got a piece of that shot at the other end, and I don't even think he saw it coming. He was turned around, engaged in a net battle, and it just seemed to glance off the back of his skate. But the Canadians will take those blocks any way they can get them, down by 2 goals in the final frame here.
Absolutely. 14-12 remaining. No power plays yet for either side in the third period. And remember, the U.S. scored on a shorthanded goal and a power play goal already tonight. A shot in by Avazov, his glove saved by Pulver. And we got a little skirmish going on between 22, Alex Krause, and a few of the Canadians. Sammy May, a name that's been in the mix when these two teams are fighting every single time.
Yeah, I mean, you expect there to be dislike between these two teams. We know how strong the rivalry is between these two countries when it comes to hockey, but in the third period, if you're the Canadians, you just can't afford to be flirting with penalties right now. You need to focus on getting that next goal, and if the Americans try and goad them into a penalty, they've just got to be a little bit smarter and not let their emotions get the best of them here, Evan.
And Sammy May from Vancouver played for the Vancouver Giants. Here's a shot. But not much going for the USA as May comes up with a puck, looks to rush the ice, a 4-on-2 opportunity, and nothing going there as Ganello sends it through, played into the zone by Alex Krause.
Yeah, there's a lot of British Columbians on this Canadian team, a lot of West Coast flavor, and Sammy May, the Vancouver Giants are a very proud franchise over there in the Western Hockey League. It says a lot that he was able to be among the many great players to play for them.
And a big hit there by Diener Chudurker. Sorry, Evan.
I was just going to say that that franchise has produced a lot of NHLers, as there's a penalty coming up here.
It's going to be a trip. And some late action between these two teams. We'll get who's going to the box in a minute. I believe it's Diener Chudurker, but we'll see. As right now, no Americans seem to be heading to the box. But as you can see on your screen, a definite trip. It's just a question of who.
And it may well be Diener Chudurker who's going. One of the referees just pointed to the bench, and it is going to be Diener Chudurker, our friend, heading over to the penalty bench for the U.S.
And Canada, again, power play hasn't been a big help tonight for them. They haven't gotten opportunities off of it. But here's another chance to put one in the net.
Yeah, there's no better time than now for them to get that first tally on the man advantage. And if that were the case, that would completely change the complexion of this third period. Down only one. The U.S. has been sitting back a little bit here. The U.S. has been sitting back a little bit here, but if Canada gets that next goal, that's 2 straight goals for the red and black, and the U.S. would really need to kick things into high gear after that. So we'll see if that materializes on this power play for Canada or not, as that play is offside.
Top line there for the Canadians on the ice, both Beckers, both Radkeys, as well as number 13, well, that is a Becker, and number 10, Max Bawaka from Kelowna, British Columbia. Like you said.
You got it right.
I hope I got it right.
It is Kelowna, yes, over by the lake there in British Columbia. Not a place where you'd expect to find a large Jewish community, but good on the Bawaka family for getting one started out there. But yeah, this first power play unit, Evan, has been ridden into the ground by Adam Schell. They've played the lion's share of minutes on every single one of Canada's power plays, and you got to imagine those legs are starting to feel a little bit heavier this late in the game.
And especially after all the games that have been through, the United States hasn't played a close game yet. Remember, they've won handedly. The last game they played against Canada was 9-1. So they haven't been tested, and here in the last 12 minutes, looks like they're going to be tested.
Yeah, but the key part of this is that they still haven't trailed in this game like they hadn't trailed in the entire tournament prior to that. They know how to manage a lead no matter how big or small. And it's up to Canada to see if they can get back even with the U.S., because that would truly be getting the Americans out of their comfort zone. But I feel like they're pretty at home up two, as saved there by Bavarnik.
Yeah, that was Fader with the shot. 33 seconds remain on the Diener Chudurker power play for Canada. And again, the Canadians trying to get something going. Coach Schell earlier said that he's not in love with the power play tonight. It has to step up. 11:39 to go. And you'll get a face-off between Janello and Radke. That's played in. Here's Weitzman now with the puck down low. He's going to find Fader. Fader out to Michaels. Michaels. Good defense there by Abene. And that's going to be out to Weitzman again.
Canada really having trouble getting this power play set up. They managed to get it back in the zone, but they just couldn't get into their set.
And a good move there by number 19, Michael Janello, but unable to hit the puck as he just whiffs, and the United States will be back at full strength as number 22 will come on Krause for Diener Chudurker. The shot there, no good.
Yeah, Janello, the most.
Remy Parker, good feed there, and a backhanded try by Krause is no good. As Parker again just tries to fit it right in, squeeze it between the pad and the crossbar. But here's Sammy May, dangerous with the puck. Opportunity here, but great defense by Higgins. And Higgins will look to start an American rush. 3-on-2 now. Finds Avazov, already has a goal tonight. Back out to Higgins. Higgins plays it, keeps it in the zone. And Shuckett now with the puck for Canada as they look to go on a rush. Drops it out to Sammy May. May, the wrister, blocked by Higgins.
Things starting to open up a bit here, Evan. Chances at both ends. Janello at the end of the power play tried to go with the toe drag as that one glances off the glove of Varnick. Tried to cut to the middle of the ice with the toe drag, and it just rolled off his stick. That would have been a great scoring chance.
Yeah, David Radke just missed it. And a good through pass by Remy Parker out to Avazov, but kept in by Parker's skate. And a new line on Antilles. Here's Litwin. Litwin trying to create something. Can't get anything going. Another good defensive stand by the Americans. As they'll counter, here's Burke. Burke trying to get through. That was number 7, Abene. But can't connect. Back out, Max Roth. Burke. And Canada will have it. Devin Becker finds Litwin again. Drops it back off the quick shot. And a good job clearing it is Max Roth.
And we wondered whether the Americans were going to try and sit on the lead or push for another one. I think we've got our answer. A couple of great chances at both ends, but especially on the U.S. side. And here's a shot right on, saved by the stick of Eli Pulver. Another dangerous opportunity for the red, white, and blue.
And here comes the U.S. Feeds it over. Here's Burke. Burke trying to get it through to Abene. Can't connect. Here's Burke again. Good stick steals, but 4 guys in red and black shirts right there. And nothing happening. Finds it. Kyle Becker. Again, a lot of odd man rushes. Not in the good way where it's 1 versus 4, 1 versus 5. Right there, not a great opportunity that Canada was looking for. And a big hit there against Becker. Nothing will come. Here's an opportunity. Levine tries to play it through, but can't connect with Avazov.
Yeah, I was going to say, Evan, as there's another pad save by Pulver. Kyle Becker is gassed right now. You see him at the end of the bench as a 3-on-2
Here
developing
comes
for
Michaels
Canada.
in the Canada rush. Crowd getting into it a little bit.
Heavy collision
and
at center
cleared
ice
away
there.
by the United States.
Between Fensterstock and Weitzman there at center ice. Huge collision. And as I was saying, Becker, he is hunched over the Canadian bench right now. Just so gassed. He's played so many minutes tonight. And you wonder how much he's got left in the tank.
And here comes Ganello. Janello surveys, tries to get it through, but can't connect. With number 22, Alex Krause, also there, Ethan Roswell. And the Americans will play it back, and Roswell will get set. A line change comes for the Canadians. May, Shuckett, Becker back on the ice. 7:30 remains here in the third period.
And Becker already back out there. He had about a 15-second rest there in between shifts, already back out on the ice.
Higgins playing it through. Avazov got an opportunity, and we're going to get a late penalty call. And the Americans, I believe, are going to go on the power play.
Yeah, it's a hook, and I believe it's going to be Becker again getting called for that one.
And we'll send it down to the ice to the third member of our team for maybe one final time before the game ends. Griffin Epstein. Griffin, what do you got for us?
Hey guys, I spent some time around the U.S. as they walked out of the locker room, and both teams around the benches contrasting styles. U.S. a quiet confidence saying, we want this medal, but quiet on the bench and focus. For Canada, a sense of anticipation. They need a goal. They're standing up. They're aggressive, but still haven't found one in this period. And with 7 minutes left to go, the medals are sitting just to my left, ready to be handed out. Back to you guys.
7:11 remain on the clock. Jeremy Kaufman will go to the penalty box and serve 2 minutes. And an opportunity for the United States to potentially add another goal and maybe, just maybe, put this game away and clinch that gold medal.
Right, you got to dig deep here if you're Canada. You see those guys hands on knees right now, just absolutely winded. And we knew this was going to be a factor. With only 10 forwards and 5D, we knew the ice time was going to be spread out pretty thin. And these guys are really feeling tired right now, but you got to dig deep here this last 7 minutes. And,
looks like we're going to get a timeout, or at least a refs meeting. I'm not sure if a timeout was called, but head coach Michael Gershon's going to have an opportunity to talk to his players. And the same thing can be said with Adam Schell.
Well, he knows, Gershon does, that this could potentially be the death blow here. If you get up by 3 goals with this little time left, there's 2 things that happen. 1, you really demoralize the Canadian team, and 2, you force them to have to take chances, force their D to have to jump up in the play, force them to make riskier plays than they have been making. And with that, the potential for the lead to grow is very much there. So very important 2 minutes coming up for both sides.
And Let's talk about this. The crowd has been awesome tonight. We expected a pretty sold-out game, and from what we've seen covering all the Maccabiah, this is very sold out. There's a lot of fans in attendance tonight. Hockey, again, such a novelty here in Israel that it doesn't get played that often.
Right, and we had differing estimates as to how many people there would be. I think there's at least a few thousand here, seems like it, and they've been very invested in this game. So you love to see that. You love to see the growth of the game in non-traditional places such as this, and they've been treated to quite a show here, Evan.
And Diener Chedurker wins the faceoff against Daniel Radke. A quick shot and a save by Pulver. That was an interesting faceoff battle. The most experienced player on Canada against the youngest player on the United States.
And I've really liked Diener Chedurker's game here tonight. He's played on both special teams units. He's taken offensive zone draws, defensive zone draws. You can tell Gershon trusts him a lot, and that says a lot for a kid who's only 18 years old.
The Americans win again. Here's Roswell. Surveys. He's going to find Ganello. Back to Roswell. Back to Ganello. Ganello with a quick shot. And it's off the pads of Pulver. U.S. will be able to reset. And out to the side. Here's Kraus. Back to Roswell. And Kraus. Roswell. Quick shot there off the boards and out of play by Ganello. And we'll get a line change for the United States as that number one line comes on. Levine, Fensterstock, Parker, Higgins, and number 28, Avizov.
Right, this is the unit that scored that go-ahead goal for the U.S. in the beginning of the second period. Avizov lurking there in the slot. As we mentioned earlier, he is very good at finding those soft areas in the defensive coverage, and you can bet they're going to be looking for him here, this last 125 of the power play.
6:35 remaining here in the game. Thank you for joining us, Evan Kamikow. Evan Oscherwitz here. We'd like to thank quickly our production crew, our executive producer, Simon Rosenwasser, our cameras, Noah Freeman, Noam Watt, and Zach Gershman, sideline reporter Griffin Epstein, and on graphics tonight, Dylan Manfrey. Again, thanks for tuning in. The United States, a 3-1 lead, 6:15 remains in the third period. Still a lot of time left, and the United States has 1 minute left in the power play. Here's Higgins. Pass it over, Fensterstock. Avizov whiffs. And the U.S. will have to reset. Higgins up top with time. Fensterstock. Back to Higgins. Fensterstock from Charlotte, North Carolina. Went to Colorado College. And the product can't connect. Here's Higgins with a quick shot and a good save there by the pad of Eli Pulver.
Just before that, they were looking for a tip from Avizov there in the high slot, and he got a piece of it, just not enough to redirect it on net. So a couple dangerous looks there for the Americans late in the power play.
And it'll be Radke and Levine to take the faceoff again. As you take a quick look at that shot off the pad of Pulver out of play.
And there's Becker on the bench, taken off after about a 30-second shift there. He's got to be exhausted. He's played the most minutes of any member of Team Canada tonight by a mile, and they're going to need him fresh as possible for this last 5.
Here's Parker. Parker to Higgins. Higgins over to Fensterstock. No good. 18 seconds remains on the power play, and the United States forced out of the zone, and they'll have to reset. One more rush coming here for the Americans. 5:20 remaining on the clock. The U.S. creeps closer and closer to gold. Fensterstock onside. Tries to get it through to Higgins. Can't. Here's Avizov. Down low. Levine. Back to Avizov. The shot. Off the pads. And Canada will come back to full strength. 5 minutes to go here. The United States up 3-1. As they try to look to get that final punch. Here's a quick shot. And wide for Avizov.
Didn't miss by much. He pulled those hands inside at the last minute, changed the angle on the goaltender, and if that had hit the net, good chance it goes in.
And the U.S. still has the puck in the Canadian defensive zone. And that'll be around the net and stopped by Pulver, and we'll get a face-off in the Canadian defensive zone.
And right now, if you're the Canadians with 4.5 minutes remaining, this is where you've really got to start taking chances. As soon as you get that puck and get it down the ice, you got to have both defensemen jumping up in the rush and serving as late men, extra opportunities to shoot. the time to be conservative has passed for Canada, and now they've got to go. They've got to go as hard as they possibly can to get these last 2 goals.
Radke wins the faceoff against Lowell. Avazov out to Roswell. Roswell plays it back in, and the Canadians look to rush for the first time in what feels like almost forever. Shuckett can't get the puck through, and Blavalka out. Puck is free. Here comes Michaels for it. Crowd reacts to the trip, but no call from the referees.
And there you see Michaels, the defenseman, pinching up in the play. As I said, you got to make extra shooters available here when you need goals this badly, and he's providing that here for Canada.
Canada still with the puck. Kyle Becker plays it around. Good defense by Antilles, not letting Canada get any passes through. Roswell bodies for the puck. Have possession, but Sammy May comes up with it. A great stop on a dime. Blavalka tries to center it through. Can't go in, and that'll find the stick of Abene. And played out of the zone. The United States will have a line change. And a big hit there by number 10, Zach Gruber.
Heck of an effort by Gruber there to beat out the icing, as well as lay the hit on the Canadian defender who went back to retrieve it.
And the U.S. now gets to set up Corpy down to number 13. That's played in. Dangerous bounce off the boards. And a big hit there against number 24.
And guess who? It's Becker who delivered that cross-check.
And here's a 3-on-3 opportunity for Shuckett. Can't come up with the puck. The U.S. will get the puck back. Here comes Kraus. Kraus dances, shot just wide of the net.
Tried to go against the grain there, and again, didn't miss by much. He had some room to shoot on the glove side.
Here's Kraus. Finds his way through, finds some space. Deflected off the boards, but kept in play. Radke now with the puck. Knocks down Kraus. And just flipped away barely by Becker. Here's Kraus again. Kraus, a lot of opportunities here, and a shot right to the chest of Eli Pulver.
And with only 2:20 remaining here, you have to wonder how long Pulver is going to stay in his crease. I'm thinking as soon as they get this puck into the offensive zone, he's going to come screaming to the bench.
It's now or never. We talked pregame about what we would have loved to see, a 3-1 lead for the U.S. and a chance to get a 6-on-5 opportunity and a potential way to end it with an empty netter. That's what hockey's all about. What a fun game we've had here tonight at Pice Arena.
Yeah, we had hoped it would be a close one, and it has certainly lived up to the hype and then some. And this last 2 minutes is going to be very exciting for sure, Evan.
Higgins plays it into the Canadian zone. But Devin Becker there passes to his brother Kyle. Becker's with time. 2 minutes to go. The United States playing a bit of a press. And that's flipped through, but an offsides is going to be called against Canada.
Well, little by little, they're getting it down the ice. Probably not the way they wanted, though. They started with the D-zone face-off. Now they got a neutral zone face-off, but really not a lot of time to play that game here.
And it looked like, too, Pulver was coming a bit out of his net. Like we said, it's only a matter of time until Alex Schell has to pull his keeper.
And he might not wait very much longer. I think they're calling a timeout here, Evan.
Timeout, Team Canada.
There you go.
Yeah, so they're probably going to run a set play here off the face-off, try and get the puck deep, and as soon as that happens, Pulver's going to go out for the extra attacker.
And here's your recent results for Canada. They opened up with a 6-0 win against Maccabi Europe, then that 9-1 blowout loss against the U.S., then won back-to-back games against Israel. The second game, the 10-1, was in the semifinal. They felt nerves for that game because they needed to be here. They wanted a chance to defend their gold medal.
And honestly, Evan, they've played a solid game here. They probably deserve to be in a better position than they're in right now, but the situation just is what it is, and they're going to have to empty the tanks here in this last minute and a half.
Just a scoring reminder, Brody Selman opened up the first period with a goal about 5 minutes in, followed 5 minutes later by an Ethan Roswell goal. Then Avazov made it 3-0, but Benji Orgil was able to come back, bar down, and keep it to a 2-goal lead for the Americans. 1 minute and 50 seconds remain. Canada, United States, gold medal on the line.
And this is interesting, Evan. The face-off has come back down into the Canadian end. So I think what they ruled is that the Canadian forward never touched the puck, and it became an icing rather than an offside. That appears to be the case.
Tyler Levine to take the face-off against Daniel Radke, the two captains. 1:48 to go. We'll be very surprised how much all of these guys get pulled off the ice. A gold medal on the line, and Canada able to clear it. There comes Pulver. On comes Bulvaka, and we'll have a 6-on-5. But the puck gets cleared back into the Canadian zone. Racing for it is 27. Remy Parker, he'll get there, and he'll put it in! That's the dagger! United States 4-1 on an empty netter by Remy Parker.
And there you really see the fatigue for the Canadian side. They get the puck deep, gets cleared out immediately, and Devin Becker just doesn't have the stamina to get back. Parker dusts him, gets to the puck, and finishes with a pretty nice wraparound here with the defenseman draped over his back. Shades of Alex Ovechkin's goal against the Coyotes a few years ago, where he used that exact same move. The only difference is there was a goalie in the net for that one.
And Remy Parker and the Americans can now smell goal. It's in their sights. 1:26 remains, a 4-1 lead. Like I said, that line probably not coming off, and right now they're definitely not coming off. And the American bench went crazy. Gotta love the celebration by Parker, pulling that USA logo, pride and joy for his country, as gold medal is going to come to the United States for the first time this century at the Maccabia.
Right, certainly a big moment coming up quickly for U.S. hockey, assuming they can finish this one off. But I think there's a good chance that Pulver goes back to the bench if Canada can get this puck deep again. With 90 seconds left, there's still hope for the Canadians, but it's going to take a miracle here.
And we'll see if you're right, as Canada has possession, but played into Ethan Roswell now. Just trying to keep it clear of the Canadian zone. Keep an eye on Pulver. He's still in his net. And a good poke there back into the offensive zone for the U.S. 1 minute here to go. The U.S. can smell gold. Pulver still in his net. 4-1 lead. And here comes Ganello. Ganello. Shot. And a glove save by Pulver.
Yeah, and at this point in the game, every second counts. And with each tick of that clock, Canada's odds get a little bit longer. And you look at the players on the ice right now, clearly fatigued. Not a great situation to be in if you're in a red and black jersey. But what a run they've had in this tournament. Aside from that 9-1 hiccup against the U.S., they've looked very good. They tried to defend their championship very, very admirably. But it does look as though their reign at the top of Maccabi men's open hockey is going to come to an end here tonight.
30 seconds away for the United States. These gold medals in their grasp. The great Herb Brooks once said, great moments are born from great opportunities. Tonight, the U.S. had a great opportunity, and 20 seconds now from tasting gold for the first time. Here's Fensterstock. Fensterstock, the shot, he puts it in! 5-1 now, 15 seconds remain. Cooper Fensterstock gets on the score sheet for the Americans.
And what a way to cap it off for Fensterstock. He's had a ton of opportunities tonight, been all around the net, and with 15.7 ticks left, he finishes it off.
Like you said, that's going to be it. The fourth goal we thought was already the dagger, but the U.S. and Cooper Fensterstock add a fifth on just a gorgeous shot. Beats him pad side, nothing that Pulver could do. Again, 15 seconds. Coach Gershon pulling some of his players to the side, knows that gold is in his grasp. And again, the United States is going to win gold at the Maccabia for the first time this century.
Yeah, the American hockey program has really come a long way since the sport was reinstituted into the Maccabia Games, and right now you're seeing the fruits of that labor before your very eyes. A resounding victory here for the Americans in the gold medal game.
15 seconds remain. All Corpy will do is just hold on to the puck. No reason to rush. Gets it over to number 13. 3 seconds remain, a little scuff, and we'll get potential fight breaking out between these two teams. This is just pure frustration by the Canadians, and looks like potentially...
Yeah, and Evan, you really hate to see this in a moment like this. You understand the frustration from Canada. You understand the rivalry between these two countries. But in a moment like this, you'd love to see sportsmanship prevail as this tournament comes to a close. But clearly the two teams on the ice have other ideas.
David Radke looked to be in there. The alternate captain for the Canadians. Just frustration as his brother is able to pull him away. The United States can take victory. Fans are starting to stand in the stands. 3.6 seconds remaining in this game. The U.S. a commanding 5-1 lead. It was tight. Canada decided to pull their goalie to try to cut the lead to 3-2. But the Americans and Remy Parker put in the fourth and followed up by Cooper Fensterstock, putting pretty much the icing on the cake. Again, 3.6 seconds remain. They're going to send number 23, Tyler Grill, to the box. But it's not like it really matters anyway. Again, 3.6 seconds till goal.
Yeah, and really it's a shame for Pulver that he's going to have that goal against on his record from Fensterstock, because all 5 Canadian skaters were just gassed on that one, could not back check, and it was an impossible save for him to make. But he came in for Rosenzweig and played very, very well. He should be proud of himself.
The puck was dropped. The Americans didn't care, and that's it. The United States takes home the gold medal, 5-1 for the first time this century. Gold for the Americans.
And what a moment for these 20 guys. They came into the tournament not quite as favorites, but as soon as that first puck was dropped, they made it clear they were here for gold and nothing less. And their run of dominance throughout the 5 games in this tournament, truly something special, as you see the Canadians consoling their goaltender.
And what a game. Canada, gold medalists no more. The Americans now with their first gold medal in this Maccabia for hockey. The women yesterday lost to Canada, but the men today with sweet revenge and take the gold medal home back to the States. What a fun night of hockey. United States wins it 5-1. We'll get the medal ceremony and your player of the game in just a moment. You can see the medals are on the ice. But first, would like to thank our entire crew. Shouted them out already, but we'll do it again. Our cameramen, Noah Friedman, Zach Gershman, Noam Watt, Dylan Manfrey on graphics. To the guy who's in charge of all of this, our whole program, Mark Zumoff, we thank you so much. Neil Slotkin as well. And the only person that makes these streams happen, Simon Rosenwasser, our executive producer. We couldn't have done it without any of them, and it's been such an honor to be here calling this gold medal game tonight with you, Evan.
Yeah, Evan, we are truly surrounded by greatness here at the Maccabi Media program. So many great people to thank for making this happen, and really all the marks go to them.
All right, Evan, I'm going to put you on the spot. Who is your player of the game, brought to you by Campus Apartments?
Well, it's a tough decision, Evan, because you've got 5 different goal scorers for the U.S. and a goalie who didn't face a ton of shots. But I'm going to go with number 5 for the U.S. on the blue line, Ethan Roswell. His goal ended up being the game winner late in the first period with that booming slap shot over the glove of Rosenzweig, and played a ton of minutes for that back end on the U.S., finished a +1 tonight. I believe really, really steady presence back there. He's got to be my pick.
And our Griffin Epstein will be with him shortly, as well as we'll get a conversation with head coach Michael Gershon. But for now, we're going to turn over to the PA announcer for the medal ceremony as the United States wins gold 5-1 over Canada.
President of Israel Ice Hockey Federation, Ms. Lee Mess, Executive Director of the Maccabi Canada, Mr. Jeff Bulldogs, President of Maccabi USA, Mr. Lou Boyerman, overall chair of Team USA, Mr. Ober Yanai of Yanai Energy, Team Nafar Energy, Roy Hesse, CEO of Maccabia. We would now like to announce the player of the tournament for Team Canada. Number 71, Don Rodkey. And now, the player of the tournament for the gold medal winning Team USA. It is number 5, Ethan Roswell. And now it is time for the presentation of the Bronze Medal Awards. Will members from Team Europe please come forward to accept their medals?
לא רלוונטי לפה, אבל כאילו, אתה מקבל על זה ועדת משמעת, ובדרך כלל זה הרחקה למשחק. כן, זה גדול. שוב. And now will Team Canada come forward to accept their silver medals. Now, will the gold medaling Team USA come forward to accept their gold medals? הבחורה הזאת שאתה רואה שאני מחכה לבנות, שחקן מספר 5 יציאה לניסויים שהם ניצחו אותנו במשחק האחרון. בסוף המשחק יציאה לנו. אבל לא הם גם ניצחו את המשחק.
Welcome back. United States wins 5-1. Our Griffin Epstein is now on the ice with the player of the game.
Hey, Ethan, you just won a gold medal. How are you feeling?
It's a great feeling. Obviously, travel all this way, come here with a great group of guys. You know, I've been training for a couple weeks now, being able to see Israel. This was just a cherry on top, and I couldn't be happier to do it with these guys by my side.
You were named player of the tournament. Well, why was your play so special throughout these games?
You know, you just stick to the system and you just try and have fun out there, and that's exactly what I did. I was just having fun out there, and, you know, it translated, obviously. And like I said, I couldn't do it without these guys on my team, though.
You guys never trailed in these games. You got the second goal. You guys out early again. What's been the key to the quick starts?
Yeah, like I said, just sticking to the system and, you know, playing together, I think. Just being able to play together and come out as a team, it goes a long way.
You guys seem so tight. What was the key to team chemistry?
Obviously, good leadership, and we have a good group. Levine's been here before, the captain, and, you know, he kind of led the way. And, you know, kudos to him. He's a great guy, and I couldn't be happier with this group. I think we're taking a pick, but...
How are you going to celebrate tonight real quick?
Yeah. We're going to Tel Aviv, baby.
Have fun. Congrats. Guys.
And tonight's player of the game, Ethan Roswell, is brought to you by Campus Apartments. Campus Apartments, the student experience is built here. And if I was the Americans too, I'd be celebrating big tonight.
I wonder if we're going to be allowed at their table at Shalvada, Evan.
I don't know about you, but I will not be making the trip there. Got a long day tomorrow, 2 more broadcasts. We got a lot more coming up for Maccabi Media, as even though these games come to a conclusion, our coverage still goes on tomorrow. We're bringing you the men's and women's open finals from Goldberg Sports Hall in Jerusalem. Again, more streams. And there's glory for the Americans. They raise the cup. They get the gold medals. And what a fun game this was. And again, I can't say how much of a great time it was tonight.
Oh, yeah, it was a blast, Evan. And we were witness to a great moment in U.S. hockey history here. Their first ever gold at the Maccabia. A moment you and I certainly will never forget. And the good thing about this team is because they have so much youth, all these guys will be eligible to return in 2025. So this could be the start of something really special for the U.S.
And in just a second, we're going to go back down to the ice as our Griffin Epstein has Coach Michael Gershon. And actually, we'll wait a second because they're going to go take a picture. Let them celebrate. Give the Americans this moment, something that a lot of them have been dreaming of. And certainly, since the start of these games, again, 17, they lost to Canada. And they haven't won a gold at the Maccabia. But that all changed tonight. Brody Selman started off with a goal. Ethan Roswell, the player of the tournament, followed. Avazov, Parker, and Fensterstock had the daggers to give the Americans the gold medal. And we'll still wait for Coach Gershon. But what a moment, what a night for U.S. hockey and Maccabi USA.
Shiva was
Our
sung
next Maccabi
here.
game will take place tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. It is a gold medal game.
And
My name is
again,
Rory Lewis. You can find me on
wait a
Facebook,
few moments so Griffin
ARI,
can get to Coach Gershon. Evan, any final thoughts before the last interview of our broadcast?
Just what a tournament we were blessed with here. We saw really all kinds of results. We saw upsets, we saw blowouts, and we capped it off with a tighter game than the score would indicate here in the final. It was just really a treat to watch these four teams duke it out, and an even better treat to see the U.S. win their first gold medal here at the Maccabia, and I'm sure it will not be the last.
Definitely not when you have guys that can return, and especially sweet for U.S. captain Tyler Levine again. Lost in the gold medal game to Canada in 2017, and now he gets gold tonight as the United States are victorious 5-1 against Canada.
Yeah, I'm sure for the last 5 years, because there was the extra year in between, he was thinking hard about how that gold medal game went in 2017. A very resounding win for the Canadians, 7-2. But in the end, Levine gets the last laugh here.
And our Griffin Epstein finally ringside with Coach Michael Gershon. Griffin, over to you.
All right, Coach. What are the emotions going through your head? You just won the gold.
Yeah, it's amazing. We've talked about this, having the opportunity to leave a legacy, and we were the first team to ever win gold after 2 silvers or 3 silvers, and it's surreal right now to be able to spend 3 weeks with a team, and we became such a close-knit group, and to be able to win it in a place like this, wearing your home country's colors, it's unbelievable.
You came so close last 2 times. What was different about this team?
You know what? I don't know. I wasn't a part of it, but it just felt like this was such a group that it was meant to be. To be as close as this group is, as quickly as they got there, we as a staff knew the first day. Everybody, we got them together. We thought we were going to have to do some team building exercises, and we just asked them why. Why were they here? And some of their answers were so amazing that the staff walked out of there and said, we don't have to do anything else. We know this team is one for the ages, and I think they showed it with how they played.
Ethan was named player of the tournament. What made him a special player?
You know what, Ethan was unbelievable. He was so good defensively, but we gave him a little bit of freedom to make some plays, and he's a really smart person and a really smart hockey player, and he just found those areas, and he scored some really big goals for us, and he was just a rock all over the ice.
Last question for you. What does this gold mean for U.S. hockey and Jewish hockey?
This means everything. I think anytime you get to represent your country, the goal is to win gold. Who knows if we're ever going to be able to represent our countries again and to do it again in Israel. And for me, this is my first time, coming to Israel. It's been amazing, and to leave with the gold medal, it's more than I could ask for.
Congratulations,
Great.
Coach.
Thank you very much.
Guys.
Thanks, Griffin.
Awesome.
USA chants are here. The Americans win it 5-1. For all of our production crew, Evan Oscherwitz, I'm Evan Kamikow, signing off from Jerusalem. We'll see you tomorrow for more broadcasts brought to you by Maccabi Media.